Thank you, Timmy B, and welcome to the Bounce House here in Orlando. This is a season-saving game for two teams coming in desperate need of a win. A Big 12 showdown in Orlando for the first time ever between UCF and Arizona, the longest road trip of the year. Welcome to O-Town, everybody. Alongside the two-time Pro Bowl running back, Robert Smith. I'm Dan Hellie. This is going to be a fun one. A lot of changes for UCF. They're coming in riding 5 straight losses. Meanwhile, Brent Brennan, the first-year head coach at Arizona, started the season 3-1. He has now lost 4 in a row after a bunch of injuries and massive changes for Gus Malzahn on his staff. Play callers on both sides of the ball have changed.
Yeah, that's a huge change. Made the change on his 59th birthday and getting rid of Ted Roof, firing him as a defensive coordinator and naming Addison Williams as a defensive coordinator. And he said because of that change, he wanted to accelerate moving Tim Harris to the full-time play caller, something that he said had been in the works.
UCF wins the toss and has elected to receive. Wants to get that offense out there early with their redshirt freshman quarterback, and it is the space game. UCF with the space game unis, 7-0, undefeated in space game history. The ball through the end zone, and it will be a touchback. We talked about the new quarterback. He's going to be leaning heavily on this guy, R.J. Harvey, the leading rusher in the Big 12, one of the very best in the country. We'll be seeing him on Sundays.
Yeah, and they saw him here on Friday nights in the Orlando area at Edgewater High School. Started off as a quarterback. He was 21-5 in high school as a quarterback. Came over from Virginia. Went for 80 yards against Iowa State a couple weeks ago. You could just see that speed on display, but has all the attributes of a great running back, has the vision, has the power, has that breakaway speed.
Let's see what they do here on the first play of the game. They're going to keep it on the ground with Harvey. Breaks one tackle at the line of scrimmage, but can't escape the wrap of Dalton Johnson. And here is Dylan Risk, his first career start, the redshirt freshman quarterback from Delray Beach, Florida. Cardinal Gibbons High School, came in, threw for a touchdown pass late in the fourth quarter. The fourth different starting quarterback for UCF this year. His first pass of the game. A quick pass, and then breaking a tackle and picking up the first down is Kobe Hudson. Hudson hurt on the first play last week against BYU. Missed the rest of that game. Back now, he's the leading receiver for this team and looking good so far.
Yeah, looking good so far in this one, and UCF fans very happy to see that he's healthy, and that's a great way to get Dylan Risk comfortable early. Just nice, easy advantage throws. Let your receivers do the work.
Risk set to throw again. Clean pocket. Clearly a miscommunication there. Nobody in the vicinity of that throw.
They say miscommunication, but oftentimes it's misidentification because quarterback thinks he sees one thing, and they're gonna throw a flag on this one. They may look at this for grounding.
Number 10, offense. The quarterback was still in the pocket. No eligible receiver in the area of the pass.
Well, now, I don't know.
The penalty is a loss of down at the spot of the foul. It's third down. Correct. Down.
Well, that's a shame that happens, and there has to be that danger, that immediate danger from a defender. I don't know how immediate that danger was. That's kind of a subjective call maybe from the officials. Unfortunate there.
He was on him, but he wasn't right on him. To your point about immediate danger. Brings up 2nd and 16 after the penalty. Johnny Richardson checking in at tailback for the Knights. Pass complete over the middle, trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Risk second completion of the game to the tight end, Randy Pittman Jr.
Yeah, and Owen Goss came in and punched that ball out. He was fortunate to recover that one. Footballs take funny bounces sometimes. Sometimes you get fortunate that thing just pops right back up into your gut. That's what happened there. But a nice punch by Owen Goss.
So 3rd and long. And we have a whistle. Main thing UCF wanted to do is just get Dylan Risk comfortable.
Them connected to the replay. We'll reset the clock to 25 seconds.
Resetting the play clock, our referee Tudashinda Salam for this game here in Orlando, the first ever meeting between new Big 12 foes Arizona and UCF. 3rd and 12 for the young quarterback. Pressure coming on Risk. Has a clean pocket, steps up, fires, and completes the pass over the middle. That's a first down. Jacoby Jones making the catch for the Knights. It's an 18-yard gain.
So impressive by Dylan Risk on this one to know that the pressure is coming, but to stand in there and deliver a strike downfield to Jacoby Jones. Big target, 6'3", 225.
Running a little tempo, and Harvey picks up a couple on first down.
You know, in talking to Tim Harris, took over the play calling this week for UCF, and he talked about having be the starter. You feel that pressure all week, but it also gives them an opportunity to get in plays you like.
Little inside handoff. Close to picking up the first down is Johnny Richardson, the 5th-year senior from Lake Wales High School, picks up 7. And moving the chains.
Now, they made the change to Dylan Risk because they want to convert more opportunities out of the pass game. But make no mistake about it, you have a Gus Malzahn offense, they are going to be run first. They are going to be control the ball. And as we talked to Tim Harris, maybe not as much quarterback run as you saw with some of the other guys, but Dylan Risk certainly can hurt you with his legs.
Looking to throw again into coverage. There were 2 men there. Lucky it wasn't picked off. Genesis Smith from his star position got a hand on it, and you can see Risk saying, "My bad."
Yeah, I think it was Tay Brown, actually, the linebacker, that gets a hand on this as it's still in there. You see, he tipped that thing at the linebacker level before it even got back there to Genesis Smith. But you're right, Genesis Smith almost got a freebie there because of his guy Tay Brown tipping that one. And that's you don't want to see that. Sometimes it's going to happen. Dylan Risk going with that double clutch there, just a little bit indecisive.
Looking to throw again. Here comes the pressure. Gets it off to Harvey and escapes the sack. It was Sterling Lane II who was right there with the pressure.
And you see Dylan Risk. You see a lot of this today. We'll run pass option, but all kinds of pressure coming off of the edge. Sterling Lane in there, and Dylan Risk being a little risky, just trying to flip that thing at the end. Got to be careful for that with those, especially if it ends up being some sort of lateral.
3rd and 10 from the 36. Here's Risk. Pressure coming again. Spins out of the pocket. Looking up the left side. Pass complete, shy of the sticks. It's Harvey making the catch. That'll bring up 4th down.
Might have had an opportunity to get his tight end Pittman down the sideline, but just a little bit hesitant to pull the trigger on that one. And I think he's seen what's happened, right? He's the 4th starter this year, so he goes in there, thinks he might have it. That's one. He's probably going to look at the film and say, I pulled the trigger there, we get a first down.
On comes Grant Reddick for the 48-yard field goal attempt. The kick is up and no good. First drive of the game, and the Knights unable to put points on the board. The Arizona offense coming out next.
Well, we're going to take a look at Arizona wide receiver Teteroa McMillan, T-Mac. And this guy is just so dangerous. You know, it's funny, in talking to offensive coordinator Dino Babers, he said he's got Larry Fitzgerald rules, right? He's got one guy on him, throw it to him. Got 2 guys in man coverage, wait until he gets open, then cover to him. Or throw it to him. Then you got 3 guys on him. Take one last peek before you throw the ball to the other wide receiver and still get it to him. 6'5", and just so athletic, very quick into the vertical aspect of his routes.
Empty backfield for Noah Fafita, and no surprise here. First pass of the game to McMillan, and he is an absolute first down machine, averaging over 17 yards per catch.
Yeah, and talking to UCF defensive coordinator Addison Williams, he said, yeah, I mean, you want to get two guys on him, but of course they're going to move him around, makes it a little bit more difficult, and you don't want to make it too predictable, too easy to get it to the other wide receivers when you double them.
Arizona keeping it on the ground, trying to find the corner. And Lee Hunter on the stop for the defense. That was Quali Conley. Picking up one, maybe two.
But Lee Hunter in that middle, man, like a vending machine with killer speed. The transfer from Auburn. I mean, he's a big guy, man. 6'4", 320 pounds, but unbelievable quickness and lateral movement.
Keeping it on the ground on 2nd and 9, and he is absolutely swarmed in the backfield. It's Hunter again among the men there. X-Ray Alexander as well, loss of 4.
Boy, this is what we used to call jailbreak up front, and you could see Big Hunter breaking free. Conley, that heart beats racing, man, when somebody breaks free like that, but really all along that defensive line, getting the penetration. Dino Baber said, we have to try and find a way to run the football. It's not going to go very well if they can't get it done up front.
3rd and 13 now for the Wildcats. Fafita pressured again, just has to get rid of it. The UCF defense with a new defensive coordinator taking care of business on the first drive here.
Boy, and they sniffed this one out immediately. Screen all the way. See big Lee Hunter on the outside, getting in the way. Dalen Dotson. Well, they've got a tremendous front four here at UCF. You guys really get that penetration, but that time I love the way that Addison Williams, defensive coordinator, dropped some defenders back into coverage.
Michael Salgado Medina punting into the end zone for Arizona. A 60-yard punt will result in a touchback. So far, so good for this UCF D.
3, 2, 1.
It is the 8th space game in UCF history, and they are undefeated. Look at that point differential, Robert. Nearly 29 points per game. What better way to bust out of a 5-game losing streak than bringing on the space game?
Some cool jerseys, I know that, with the constellation design.
I knew you loved that as an astronomy buff. Quick pass by Risk out to Javaris Johnson, trying to find some room around the left side. And he looks to be just shy of picking up the first down. Going to be 2nd and very short.
And again, this is the way that you get that young quarterback calm and confident in the pocket. We talked about that previous drive. Maybe had an opportunity to get the ball downfield to Pittman. Just let him settle his nerves a little bit here at the beginning of drives.
Oh. Nice move to bust it to the outside by Harvey. Almost to midfield.
Oh, I love this, man. Watch the little hezzy move right in the hole here. Patience, setting up the blocks, pressing the hole, as we call it. Those defenders flow over the top. They think that you've committed in one place. Harvey just freezes them. And he can do that because he has the confidence in his acceleration. You can see him turn it on there.
Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for R.J. Harvey. Coming in as the 3rd leading running back in the country, and he is scattered, smothered, and covered by this Arizona defense. Stanley Tafuo, part of the laundry list of defenders who was in on that tackle.
Uyunglele in there as well. They really dominated on the front that time. And it's just, it's those little technique things. We talk about units a lot, but it really...
Illegal formation, offense. There were more than 4 players lined up in the backfield. The penalty is declined. It's second down.
Yeah, declined for a good reason. You get that kind of penetration, but why you get that penetration? It's the individual techniques. And, they're like martial artists along the offensive and defensive lines, the hand fighting that goes on, and the way that guys squeeze into gaps. Uyunglele, nice job there.
Here's Riss, going to keep it himself. Back to the original line of scrimmage. And we have a flag down. Dalton Johnson coming in from his hybrid safety middle linebacker spot to meet Risk.
Risk thinks they got a hold of his face mask, I believe. There's a little conference going on here. Yep, they're going to walk it off.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 13, defense. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic foul.
So it's going to be Jack Luttrell coming up from that safety spot late. Come into the pile. It's like they got a little barbecue going on there. He just wants to get in a couple extra hits from the end or from the side.
But don't get caught.
Fresh set of downs from the 34-yard line. Again, keeping it on the ground. This time it's Miles Montgomery, the junior from Jacksonville. Well, I tell you, so far, Risk looks pretty comfortable.
Yeah, he certainly does. And he hasn't had to risk, no pun intended, too many throws down the field. He had that one tip that almost got picked, and maybe that made him a little bit gun-shy on the opportunity in the third down previously with Pittman, but he hasn't driven the ball too far downfield.
Risk going to throw again. Looking into the end zone, Dylan Risk overthrowing Kobe Hudson. Taking a shot there, going to bring up third down.
Oh, and then you do dial up the opportunity, and he's going to want this one back. You cannot miss opportunities like this, and you can see Kobe Hudson just freezes the defender, Emmanuel Carnley, the redshirt freshman, wide open there, and just a little bit too much air on it.
Risk 5 of 8 for 48 yards, 3rd and 6 here.
Watch his legs here.
Pressure coming to the right side, and Risk picking up the first down on that throw. And just battling for extra yards after making the catch is Jacoby Jones, coming off that huge 100-yard game last week.
Boy, you're going to see Jones, and Carnley's going to be in coverage, and as soon as Jones turns around, Risk has that ball right there. Excellent job trusting his receiver that he's going to be in the right spot. Nice anticipation throw, and that gives Jones an opportunity to get some run after the catch.
Here's Harvey trying to bounce it outside. Nice job of running, a very patient runner. What do they say? Slow to the hole and fast through?
Boy, we get a chance to take another look at this one. This is like a little double jump cut, and he just gains yardage laterally so well on these cuts, and he had 2 of them there. Doesn't cross over his legs. These are one of those drills that you do in practice, and then when you get in the game, it happens automatically. He's a tremendous runner, so much fun to watch.
Operating out of the pistol on 2nd and 4. This time, Risk keeping his own number, and he's inside the 5, picking up yet another night first down.
Yeah, remember, Tim Harris said he doesn't run the way those other guys run, the other 3 guys that were on the depth chart ahead of him, but he's certainly dangerous with his legs, and I think that's something to watch today, quite frankly. You just don't want to try and do too much if you're Dylan Risk, and he gets a little bit careless when he's carrying the ball. He's got to protect that thing. Looks like we got some rain moving in here. The great equalizer for us.
Perhaps benefits UCF, keeping on the ground again with Harvey. He's wrapped up by Kayvon Darton after a gain of 1. UCF coming in as the 3rd leading rushing team in the nation. They have now rushed for over 2,000 yards this season. Let's see if they utilize the run here on 2nd and goal.
Watch Jacoby Jones
Brown
in the slot.
And here he is. Got the start last week. It is Jakari Brown bringing it in for the 4-yard touchdown run, and UCF on the board first.
Well, they know he's a runner. They kind of know this was coming, but you still got to play it honestly, and they're going to respect the handoff fake to the inside to Montgomery, and Brown turns it on and gets it in for 6.
It has been a carousel of quarterbacks for UCF this year. Jakari Brown started 2 games as the extra point is up and good by Grant Reddick. KJ Jefferson got 5 starts. Dylan Risk up 7-0 early in his first ever start for the Knights. UCF with the first touchdown of the game here in Orlando, courtesy of now backup quarterback Jakari Brown. And how about the QB celebrating together?
He gives him a little headbutt there. You'd love to see that, man. You see it a lot with running backs, rotating quarterbacks, maybe not as much until you go back to the Chris Leak and Tim Tebow days, but a lot of change at quarterback. 4th different starter this year, but even when Jakari Brown, a few weeks ago, he was named the starter and he's out there performing. You could see KJ Jefferson giving him the love. I'm sure EJ Colson's involved with it as well, and that says a lot about the culture of this team.
The bounce house is bouncing after the first score of the game, and here is Evan Morris. You don't see this very often, a tight end / kicker. Ball fielded at the 2-yard line, and it's Jeremiah Patterson out past the 20. Friday night on Fox, one of college football's breakout stars, running back Caleb Johnson, leads the Iowa Hawkeyes into the Rose Bowl for a showdown against UCLA. It all kicks off Friday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox.
Well, only 10 yards for this Arizona offense, and now we got some sheets of precipitation here in South Florida as you get so much in the afternoons here. They got to get something going. Noah Fafita, so dangerous with his legs. Might be an opportunity for him to get that offense going.
Going to keep it on the ground with Conley. And the ball's down. UCF tries to pounce on it as there is a mad scramble for the ball at the 16-yard line, and UCF does indeed recover in the red zone area.
Well, you always have to watch ball security when you start to get rain like this. Unfortunate, 2 weeks in a row, Conley had a fumble in the game a week ago. Kind of gets held up there by some of the defenders, and Ethan Barr wisely comes up and starts punching at the football with the peanut punch and knocks that thing free.
Yeah, Ethan Barr, and it looked like Quadric Bullard was there as well, the leading tackler for this team. Whatever the case may be, this is a good situation for the home team with the ball sitting on the 17-yard line. With all this change that they have gone through, defensive coordinator Ted Roof has been fired. He has been replaced with co-defensive coordinator Addison Williams. Gus Malzahn has turned over the play calling duties to offensive coordinator Tim Harris Jr. And they're trying to get another score here on the board. Here's Harvey, and it is a huge hole into the end zone. R.J. Harvey, give him 6.
Keep your eye on left tackle Grayson Stovall. Watch him climb up to the second level and just completely bury a linebacker there. Nice crease. Sorry, Amari Knight.
Extra point is good, and in the rain, the bounce house has erupted. All UCF so far, turning a fumble into points is this UCF defense with a brand new play caller, paying dividends here in Orlando early.
I used to be a stick-up kid, so I think of all the devious things I...
After a quick change touchdown, it's 14-0 UCF. Arizona turns the ball over on the 17-yard line, and it takes all of one play for Orlando native R.J. Harvey to score from 17 yards out. And with the rain coming down, ball hauled in at the 8-yard line by Patterson. And Patterson wrapped up at the 23-yard line.
Well, some pads are popping there in special teams. You can see the energy from this UCF team, all fired up in their space uniforms. And again, another opportunity for this Arizona offense. Noah Fafita's got to get these guys settled down. Again, ball security is so important. You just have to find a way. Get somebody's towel to get your front. If you're going to be a ball carrier, make sure that your jersey is dry.
There's Fafita setting his feet, firing deep, and it is broken up, looking deep, but Quadric Bullard there to get a hand on it.
Quadric Bullard, fifth-year senior. Watch how he tracks this football, but he does an excellent job of not interfering. He gets his eyes back to Noah Fafita, times his jump perfectly, and is able to knock that ball away from Hyatt.
Nice coverage by the safety on Devin Hyatt, brings up 2nd and 10. Kedrick Risano up the middle, has a big hole. Risano diving for the first down.
Well, you love to see that when you're a ball carrier. You get that thing, and everybody's just gone. And you're 7 yards downfield before you get touched. But this is what matters, right? The money down 14-0. Noah Fafita knows this offense has got to convert.
Risano still in it, running back on 3rd and 1. Here he is, trying to break it to the outside. Looks like he found just enough of a crevice to pick up the first down for the Wildcats.
This is BYOB. Not to bring your own beverage, be your own blocker right here. Risano, he gets to the outside. A couple of defenders are free, but that's just want to right there, man. He sees the sticks and he gets to him.
Fafita, clean pocket so far, throws it out to the left side. And what a hit, absolutely dropping the hammer is Exree Alexander to break it up.
Boy, nice job covering downfield, taking all of Noah Fafita's options away. And you called it, partner. Exree Alexander knows what the outlet's going to be. He said, all right, you got that first down on that last quarter. Let me taste a little bit of my face mask right here.
Rain coming down, making it a little bit harder to throw. Here's Risano again, burrowing his way for a pickup of 8.
Boy, and you hate that Conley put that ball on the ground, and they thought after last week's fumble that might be out of his system, but you can see Risano's getting the bulk of the carries. And I'll say it again, we have not seen Noah Fafita's legs be a factor, but we know that they can be potentially here.
3rd and 2, let's see if they use him. It does indeed look like Fafita's going to try and run, but there's nowhere to go. He is swallowed up. Nigel Kelly and Malachi Lawrence there for the sack. This UCF defense has been reborn.
Oh, Addison Williams was a defensive play caller a year ago. Ted Roof was brought in as a defensive coordinator play caller this year. And we sat in that meeting with Addison Williams, and he said, I was able to show those guys what resilience was firsthand. Like, I'm a pro. He comes in, he's going to be the play caller, but I got to be a man about it. Those guys are ready to run through a brick wall for him.
Trent Whittemore back deep, going to let the ball bounce, trying to down it before it goes into the end zone. And 58-yard punt. Sorry, go ahead, partner.
I'm sorry, that's Holloway. Oh, Holloway and Hyatt in tandem there. You look at getting that hand back right there. Oh, he had his forearm right on the goal line as well. Great job tracking that ball.
Oh, so
pinning
close.
This offense so deep. Now here you go. This had 3 phases right there, man. So important. You get a play like that, gives your team an opportunity. Down 14-0, potentially get a safety here, force a fumble in the wet conditions, and at the very least, you hope that you get great field position if you can hold them and they have to punt.
Gonna throw from his own end zone. Ball is caught. It's Hudson with a juggling catch. He's been responsible for 1/3 of the receiving yards for UCF this year.
Boy, what a catch right here. He has to go down to get that one. He's only able to get one hand on it initially. You can see Hudson, ball bobbles just a little bit. He's able to secure that one and give this offense a little bit of breathing room.
And Hudson really toughened it out after the ankle injury on the first play of the game last week. Not 100%. Here's Harvey with more room, bounces it to the outside, past the 30-yard line, wrapped up by Jack Luttrell. An 18-yard gain. R.J. Harvey just having his way with this Arizona defense.
Well, credit goes to this UCF offensive line as well. They're just dominating on up front, and this Arizona defense not securing those edges, allowing Harvey to get to the outside.
A new look UCF team here at home in the Bounce House has the place rocking in the rain. Rain's coming down. Knights with their best start in a while, up 14-0. With a redshirt freshman quarterback, Dylan Risk, making his first career start. How about this compared to last week? This is the way you want the first quarter to go, just dominating time of possession.
Yeah, no question about it, and this is why they wanted to make that change. Sometimes just a fresh start is the spark they need.
Keeping it on the ground with Harvey. Bouncing it outside, he has done so often in this game. Patient running, picks up 8.
What a finish to this run. You know, a lot of times you see guys just run into defenders at the end of that run, and Takario Davis comes up to make that tackle. Harvey plants his foot in the ground, gets another 5 yards out of that carry.
This time it's Risk rolling out to his right, trying to run, trying to stretch for the first down. See where they spot the ball. Kevon Darton on the stop. Does look like he's going to be a bit shy.
He's going to be a bit short there, and again, talked about the fact that he's not quite the runner that you had in Brown or Colson or Jefferson. Certainly can be dangerous with those legs, but I think you go with a little zone read action here, potentially have him running out to the right.
Keeping it on the ground on 3rd and 2, up the middle, picking up the first down is Miles Montgomery.
Gave the give read. Tremendous job with the double teams up front. And this offensive line, not just getting on their initial blocks, but climbing to that second level. And that's how you turn those 3- and 4-yard gains into 8- and 15-yard plus gains. You see they're getting it done with Harvey and Montgomery.
Montgomery again. This time it's Lolesio on the stop. Freshman from Long Beach Poly in California. And, you know, this Arizona defense has obviously been through its struggles. It's been well documented. how they've been battling injuries. 3 defensive captains, Jacob Manu, Gunnar Maldonado, Traden Stukes, all out for the year. So young players stepping up like Jack Latrell, Tay Brown, Genesis Smith, kind of learning on the job. Again, flipping it to a receiver, and there is some room here for Javaris Johnson, and another night first down. Tim Harris taking over play calling duties for Gus Malzahn. And running tempo just off the mark was Dylan Risk.
Boy, the official played a little bit of defense on that one, kept Dalton Johnson from getting over it. But you're right, partner. They go with a little bit of tempo, and this Arizona defense, because of the injuries that have been stacked up, particularly in the secondary, but even up front, these guys have had to go with a lot of younger players, haven't had as much depth, and this drive, even in the rain, has taken a lot out of them.
Missing Stukes and Maldonado from that secondary, 2 very good players. Again, a little jet sweep, breaking a tackle, and looking for more room is Johnny Richardson.
Stretch the field, stretch the field. You want to make the big guys run and the little guys tackle. Running on the perimeter like that, getting those guys even more gassed. Get those hands on the hips. And it's not just those guys being tired and being able to hold their gaps. It just, you can lose concentration so easily. And defensive coordinator Dwayne Aquina told us he's had to simplify some things, especially on the back end, because you got a lot of young guys, but easy to lose concentration when you get gassed.
3 for 4 on third down conversions. Risk throwing again, breaking a tackle and looking for more. Jacoby Jones picking up where he left off last week.
And it's the timing once again. As soon as Jones makes that turn, ball's already on its way from Risk, and this is exactly what Gus wanted.
Here's Harvey, nowhere to go on the left side, breaks a tackle in the backfield, looking for more, cannot escape the swarm of Takario Davis.
One of the best negative 3-yard runs you're ever going to see. Harvey going to start off to his left, get to a couple jump cuts, slide underneath the tackle, escape from a tackle here. The only thing we had missing was like Earl Campbell back in the day with the tearaway jersey. But still, Davis from that cornerback spot, known for his coverage skill, makes a nice tackle.
2nd and 12 from the 18. Harvey in the offset pistol with room. R.J. Harvey into the house again.
Well, once again, just nothing fancy. Harvey right up the middle, and those offensive linemen just a hat on a hat. Jack Latrell is going to have an opportunity, but Harvey just uses the hurdling skills to get to pay dirt.
A 12-play, 99-yard drive to start the second quarter for UCF, up 21-0. It's the space game. Of course they're up 21-0. Their average margin of victory is 29 points all night so far.
We got a big day tomorrow. Huge day in the NFL with a doubleheader on Fox. First, it's Dak and the Cowboys take on the Falcons or other regional action. Then, a battle to see who's going to be king of the North. Jared Goff leads the Lions against Jordan Love and the Packers, or you get the Rams and Seahawks. Check local listings for the games in your area. Tomorrow, only on Fox.
Evan Moore is set to kick off. Jeremiah Patterson hauls it in at the 6. Dives ahead to the 22 and flags flying.
Well, that flag came from deep. It's pretty far away. Illegal block in the back.
During the return, holding, number 10, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And there's Patterson being helped to the sideline. Don't like to see that for the Wildcats, down 21-0. Desperately in need of something positive offensively. They've only run 11 plays so far for 20 yards in the game. To counterbalance that, UCF has run 34 plays with 226 yards of offense.
This is the way they started against West Virginia.
Arizona keeping it on the ground. And that's Ricino. We have yet to see Quali Conley back in the game since that fumble. Ricino with just 3 carries last week. Already has more than that here this afternoon.
Yeah, and we saw the one attempt by Noah Fafita to run up the middle, but we haven't seen him with the ball on the edge. See if they get him, try and use his legs.
Fafita to throw. Has time, steps up in the pocket. Here's McMillan with some room out past the 40. And that's the chunk play they've been looking for.
Well, this is exactly what the offense needed. What I love is Noah Fafita keeps his eyes downfield, looking for his man T-Mac. And Tedero McMillan does such an excellent job just tracking the ball so easily, just catches it so naturally. You know, I was around when Randy Moss was a rookie. I'm not saying the guy's Randy Moss, but he just moves differently than everybody on the field.
Quick pass to the left side, down to the 47-yard line. And it's Hunter on the catch for Arizona.
Well, this is exactly what this offense needed, but you got to continue this. This is the way that they started a week ago against West Virginia down in the desert. I think they only ran like 5 plays in that first quarter, and there's another fumble that was a big cause of that by Quali Conley. Hate to see him fumble 2 weeks in a row, but they have got to get some points on this drive.
Ricino motions to the slot. Here's Fafita. That's what you were talking about, using his legs to the 50. Still going to be about 3 yards shy of the sticks.
And Wendell Moy, the right guard, was pulling around there. You know, it's tough, man. Those big offensive linemen, when they get them pulling around to try and find people, man, it's like turning an aircraft carrier. They got to get their eyes upfield, but they don't always put their brakes on quite the way the smaller guys do. He couldn't turn up on that linebacker. Fafita just trying had to beat him.
Conley has checked back into the ball game at running back for the Wildcats. 3rd and 4. Fafita with some room. Looking downfield, unable to connect with McMillan over the middle.
You have got to be friendly for your quarterback. You get a scramble drill like that, you can't just stay in the same place because you know that the defenders are going to be converging on you. Keep an eye on Jeremiah Patterson here. He's going to hitch up. Once he sees that Fafita's in trouble, you got to move further back to the inside. You know, it's the old, if he can't see your eyes, or if you can't see his eyes and he can't see yours.
Whittemore back deep, content to let the ball bounce. And down at the 12-yard line, a 39-yard kick from Michael Salgado Medina. All UCF up by 3 touchdowns. This season marks the 8th mission of the space game, and every year the game honors different NASA programs. The original 2017 game honored the nearby Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. This season's game honors the ongoing Artemis program. No school in the country sends more graduates to the space program than UCF. It's about 45 minutes from the Space Coast here. Quick pass to the outside, and nothing going for Kobe Hudson. He's wrapped up right away.
And when your offense isn't making any plays, get that quick change. And Dwayne Aquino, man, he's been around this game a long time. He told us the story last week, man. He got to Washington the same time as Warren Moon, who's another one of my quarterbacks up there in Minnesota. So he's been around the game a long time, but seen a lot of defense, and he knows how to get guys ready to play. And when your offense isn't making plays, sometimes your defense isn't making plays, and you have to try and take some chances potentially to turn the ball over.
Keeping it on the ground once again. And picking up 3, maybe 4, is Harvey before he's stopped by Dalton Johnson.
And these are going to be those opportunities. This is something that Dwayne Aquino talked about. You got a lot of young guys, especially on the back end of that defense. You don't want to put too much of a volume of defense on him, but he said that he was going to find his opportunities to light up the young quarterback, Dylan Risk. This might be that opportunity. 3rd and 10, bring some unconventional pressure, maybe watch the slot to Cario Davis.
Last week, UCF 2 of 10 on 3rd downs, 4 of 5 so far today. And here comes the pressure on Risk. Nice job eluding the pressure for the redshirt freshman. Dylan Risk is running, and Dylan Risk not only has a 1st down, he nearly gets to the 50-yard line after a 33-yard pickup.
He said, "We ain't got no legs." Come on, man. I was the 4th guy on the depth chart. I can run like all of those guys. Nice job getting upfield, protecting the ball. Well, I love to see that. And I know these UCF fans, backup quarterback so many times becomes popular, but you can see why they loved this guy and wanted him in there.
Risk looking up the right sideline, catch is made. It's Kobe Hudson. Climbs the ladder to get that one. Great body control and another 35-yard pickup for the Knights.
Yeah, and it's going to be the best coverage guy to Cario Davis here. And Kobe Hudson, a lot of those guys said they wanted a shot at him, but I love the ball here from Dylan Risk, giving his guy a chance.
Here's Harvey. Looking to bounce. Chase Kennedy not going to let him do it.
You know, that's a next level throw. And one of the things I noticed there, as soon as he got that snap, you know, because it's so wet out here, a lot of times you'll see the quarterback, it's even harder to get on the strings and kind of get the feel that they want from the ball. But he could see that one-on-one opportunity. More importantly, he could see the leverage of Davis in coverage getting a little bit high. That's when you go with that back shoulder throw, executed perfectly there to Kobe Hudson.
Harvey in that offset pistol again with room up the middle. R.J. Harvey with the stiff arm. Not able to get away from Genesis Smith. But again, the patient running from the leading rusher in the Big 12, just so impressive.
Yeah, and a lot of times they have 3-man fronts. It's what they saw against Iowa State. And this Arizona defense just not filling from that 2nd and 3rd level quickly enough. You got to get extra bodies in there. When you go with that 3-man front, your linebackers and safeties have to be ready to fill those gaps.
Harvey taking a rest. Risk keeping it himself. Dives inside the 5. Dalton Johnson wrapping him up around the ankles.
This is when it's fun to run the football too, man.
Isn't it always fun to run the football for you?
Well, I don't know if I'd say always. It depends on, you know, you get the ligament snapped and things like that. But it gets a little bit wet out. And, you know, the offensive guys, we know where we're going, right? And it's like he was a mutter. And here we go again with Brown back in the game at quarterback.
2nd and goal, keeping it on the ground with Montgomery, and he's in for another UCF touchdown. They have now scored on 4 straight drives.
Watch the center, number 52, Caden Kittler, get up to the 2nd level. It's a little bit of a double team, then moves up to that 2nd level, and an easy 6 for Miles Montgomery. Those are fun every now and then, too. The little bunch on the sideline.
Everything going right for this UCF offense and defense. Offensive coordinator Tim Harris calling plays for the first time on the college level, mixing it up well. 28-0 after that 8-play, 88-yard drive. This time, it's Miles Montgomery punching it in. Back in the bounce house, 28-0 UCF everything going right as it normally does in the space game for UCF. Last time they started a game like this was New Hampshire in the season opener, a game in which they won 57-3. Look at the numbers from the last drive. Everything working to perfection offensively on both sides of the ball for the Knights, or should I call them the Citronauts, as they are going with the throwback mascot here for the space game. Jeremiah Patterson wrapped up, and there is some hitting going on down there.
Well, here's the opportunity for Arizona. You know, they've really struggled in the middle 8, the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. In the 3-1 start, they outscored opponents 34-0 in that middle 8. Over this 4-game losing streak, completely reversed. They're getting outscored 34-0. Here we are at the start of that middle 8. See if they can get some points and change that trend.
Just over 3.5 to go here in the first half. Fafita, quick pass to Patterson. And not a whole lot going on. Deshaun Pace coming in from his linebacker spot, the 50-year senior from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Now, we've seen this before, right? We've even seen just about the same thing in a Super Bowl. And Arizona had to come back in the game a week ago against West Virginia. What it takes sometime is just one guy rising up, make somebody miss, get a big play, quick answer.
And that one guy for most of the season has been McMillan. Giving it to Chris Hunter this time, who does the job picking up the first down. Chris Hunter had 7 receptions in his last 2 games after just 4 receptions in the first 6. They're getting a lot more reps and looking his way a lot more. Picks up 13 there.
Yeah, and he's from New Orleans. He's used to running in some slop. I love these fields, though, man. You see him start to get chewed up. It's real football.
Fafita on the keeper. Knocked out of bounds at the 41. Exree Alexander and Antoine Jackson both there.
He's got to get better blocking on the perimeter. Kean Burnett, his tight end, was out there. You got to get more physical on that cornerback.
Run brings up 2nd and 6 for the Wildcats. Fafita with time. Here is the aforementioned McMillan breaking a tackle, picking up the first down. He's down to the 43-yard line before being shoved out of bounds by Sheldon Arnold.
Boy, shoved out of bounds? You mean tackled in the white? Almost tackled him on the bench there.
A 17-yard gain for perhaps the best wide receiver in America. They need him. Do the Wildcats trying to mount a comeback. 2-minute timeout here in the first. Welcome back to the space game, and you got to have robot dogs during the space game, right? These guys are doing flips.
It's unbelievable.
They're rolling around.
Where is Sal Connor?
Oh, look at that.
The flipping dog.
It's all fun and games until they're chasing us down the sidewalk in 10 years.
I want to be the first to welcome our robot dog overlords.
Fafita, ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. And again, this UCF defense continues to come up big. Just 93 yards for Arizona offensively in this game as we're just under 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
You know, we were sitting in that meeting, and Addison Williams, the defensive coordinator, was telling the story. It's like, those guys know I could have left. I showed the resilience. And when he was named the coordinator once again, you could just get the sense in that meeting those guys were ready to come out and play.
Fafita with time, now flushed out of the pocket. Continues to look downfield and has to get rid of it. Dalen Dotson, the sack leader for UCF, providing the pressure.
And that's certainly not a knock on Ted Roof. Just sometimes guys get that little bit extra, and more importantly, it's not just the intensity that they play with, but the way that they prepare. And here, a big opportunity, 3rd and 10, to do something special.
Gus Malzahn loved the relationship Addison Williams has with his players, and they are certainly playing for him here today. Let's see what they can do here on 3rd and 10. Arizona just 1 for 4 on 3rd down. Here comes the pressure. Fafita. Nice job to find McMillan. Makes one man miss down to the 25-yard line and out of bounds.
Yeah, you saw that pressure, partner. And it was Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the running back, that provides just enough time for Fafita to get that ball out there to his man, T-Mac, who does a nice job sensing where the defender is, turning back the other way. And again, we talked about his height up at 6'5", but something that you watch for those bigger guys, it's those guys that can sink their hips and get in and out of their routes. Makes a guy like him special.
Getting a touchdown here would be huge for Arizona. This time trying to connect with Chris Hunter. It doesn't put a huge dent in the scoreboard, but just emotionally, what does it do for this team if they were able to get some points on the board instead of going in 28-0?
Well, it's always the next play anyway, right? I mean, that's what we tell ourselves as players, but there's no question about it. They know that they want to get some points here, and it does. It's such an emotional boost for you.
Already the best drive of the game so far for Arizona. Quick pass to the outside. Jeremiah Patterson picks up about 3. And keep your eye, of course, on number 4, Tetaroa McMillan. That is the security blanket and the exclamation point for this offense. Fafita and McMillan have been friends since 8th grade when they played together, moved on to Servite High School. And they have done amazing things the last couple of years. Let's see what they can do here on 3rd and 7. Fafita into the end zone. And finally, Arizona on the board. It's Sam Olsen. Had his first touchdown of the season against West Virginia. Touchdown number 2 coming from 24 yards out. And that was just what the doctor ordered for Arizona. Their best drive of the game results in a score.
And you talk about scramble drill. What happens? The short guys go long, meaning the receivers that are deep come short, and the short guys go long. And that's exactly what you had from Sam Olsen right there. And it's X-Ray Alexander that's in the coverage. But as soon as he saw Noah Fafita break the pocket, Sam Olsen said, okay, got to go deep. X-Ray Alexander did not react quickly enough. And a nice job tracking the ball. You know, it's not always easy for big men to track the ball like that, especially where it's not going exactly where they think it's going to go. Nice adjustment to make the touchdown.
And the extra point, no good, so it will remain 28-6 after that 10-play, 78-yard drive. And you're right, the experienced tight end, the redshirt junior transfer from San Jose State, getting it done here.
Yeah, nice little route there. He sets up in the hitch, but goes deep as soon as Fafita breaks out of the pocket. And nice job by Fafita right there. You know, you got the big man back there. Don't try and make too fast of a throw for a guy like that. You kind of get that perfect touch and trajectory on the ball, and you know that Alexander has to play catch up on that one. Even if Olsen wasn't able to get to that ball, you may have had an interference right there. So it was a nice job by Fafita not rushing that throw. And that's exactly what this Wildcat offense and team needed, quite frankly, especially after what happened last week against West Virginia. They fell down early in that one. We were at that game. Came back, had an opportunity to win that game late. So that can be deflating, especially when you have to make that long trip across the country.
Tyler Loop with the kickoff, fair catch called for at the 1-yard line.
That's the first points. Again, we talked about this point earlier. Those are the first points that the University of Arizona has scored in the Middle Eight in the last 5 games.
That's incredible, and it was such a huge point of emphasis for Jed Fish and that last coaching staff. Of course, had such a great year last year, and then that Nick Saban retirement triggers that
Caleb
ripple
DeBoer
effect.
leaves, and Jed Fish leaves, and then Brett Brennan leaves San Jose State.
Here's Harvey. Out past the 30-yard line, and then a little friendly fire as he runs into one of his own blockers. Harvey over 100 yards for the second consecutive week. Had 127 last week, and this time Risk going to keep it. And picking up the first. I tell you, this does not look like a guy making his first career start. I am incredibly impressed with the composure and the performance of the redshirt freshman Dylan Risk from Delray Beach, Florida.
Yeah, we talked about the story. They bring in KJ Jefferson in the offseason from Arkansas. Demote him from the starting role. EJ Colson gets a start. Jakari Brown gets a start. They said Dylan Risk just never wavered in his commitment to this team.
Dumps it off over the middle. Safe check down throw and knocked out of bounds as Harvey's fighting for some extra yards. Owen Goss got a hand on it.
Well, you got one opportunity potentially to get yourself down in the field goal range here, or maybe even a shot at the end zone type play. And go with some sort of quick out here, but you got the timeout. You still have the middle of the field open if you want it. Just got to be mindful of the time here.
Ten seconds on the clock. Risk going to run it and slides down at about the 46-yard line. A veteran play from the youngster. 3 seconds left on the clock, and you were talking about this quarterback carousel. KJ Jefferson, the transfer from Arkansas, they hand selected out of the portal. Started the first 5 games, but things just weren't going well. And then EJ Colson, the 17-year-old freshman, started against Cincinnati, lasted about a series or so. Jakari Brown started the last 2 games, benched at the end of last week's game in the 4th quarter for Dylan Risk. Risk comes in. His first significant playing time of the season. Looks pretty good. Throws a touchdown pass late, and he's picking up right where he left off. He does not look like a young man who is making his first career start. He was not a highly touted kid. Coming out of Cardinal Gibbons High School in Delray Beach, had a couple of looks, but ends up here and started the year as the 4th string quarterback. The only school in the country to start 4 different quarterbacks this year is UCF.
Well, he's just one of those guys. You need guys like that at quarterback. And Gus Malzahn said he hasn't flinched a day.
Going to look towards the end zone. Pressure coming. He's going to fire it up there. We've seen Hail Marys work before. Oh my goodness! It's a touchdown. You got to be kidding me. Randy Pittman Jr. from Dylan Risk.
One of these officials coming across the field. They may change the spot. Maybe not. There's one guy who's coming over to talk. Look like are you sure that ball was in front of the goal line? You're like, we can't call this one back.
Here's another look. One of the officials signaled touchdown.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that ball's over the plane. I'll tell you, Takario Davis just mistimed his jump from the back of that pack. Yeah, they're going to take another look at it because he needs complete control of the ball, but the ball just has to be breaking the plane. But when he gets possession, I don't know if we have Mike or Dean.
I believe we have Mike Pereira with us now. Mike, this looked like a touchdown to me. What do you see?
Flip a coin, you're going to me. I think it's a touchdown. You got an airborne receiver, now he's going to be contacted from the back. So he gets that forwardmost point right there as long as he maintains control of the ball, which it looks as if he does. So I don't see any way you could change this. I think it's a touchdown.
Thank you, sir. And again, it was ruled a touchdown on the field. Randy Pittman Jr., they told us they wanted to get this big physical tight end more involved early. He said he's one of the best players they have on offense, and tremendous concentration for the sophomore from Panama City.
I mean, you know, after everything that this fan base has been through, well, you love to see this, but, you know, just as difficult for the Wildcats, and Dylan Risk gets everything on that ball. And again, you can see those two guys, just Genesis Smith and Takario Davis, just mistime their jumps. They run into each other in the air, but they're past the ball. and is able to get back behind them to Pittman. And Risk missed that opportunity on a third down earlier in the game to get the ball to Pittman. Gets it to him there. Boy, just wild seeing that after we saw what happened with the Commanders last week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You get these Hail Mary plays.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is a touchdown.
The bounce house erupts as UCF ends the half with their 5th straight touchdown. You heard that right. They have scored on 5 straight drives, have the Knights.
Yeah, this is one where, say, Gus, you can almost hear the post-game press conference. Did you expect it to go like this? I expected it to go well. I don't know if I expected it to go like this.
Nice job to get the ball down there for the extra point. And the Knights are on a roll, 35-6 in the space game. This is when they do it, everything going right. That's the end of the first half here. It's Mike Hill and the guys from the LA studios. The halftime show is coming up after the break.
Welcome to the State Farm Fox College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We are inside our LA studios along with Emmanuel Acho and Chris Peterson. I am Mike Hill. We will get you back out for the second half shortly. But first, of course, we got to get you caught up on other action from around the country. It is our State Farm halftime highlights, and we start with the game of the day, top 5 matchup. Ohio State, Penn State. Will this finally be the year for Penn State? They've lost 7 in a row against Ohio State. Will Howard, Pennsylvania native, leading the way for Ohio State, but a costly error right here early on.
Did not start the game how the Buckeyes wanted to start.
Yeah, Zion Tracy, 31-yard pick six. Penn State was up 10-0, but Ohio State came right back. Howard, Brandon Ennis.
The best offseason addition for Ohio State is not a player on the football field, it's a coach on the sideline. Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator, has done wonders for them.
14 seconds before they have Drew Allen trying to give them the lead, but picked off in the end zone right there. That would be a big setback for them there. Also a big setback, fourth quarter, Nittany Lions down by 7, 4th and goal. Drew Allen's pass incomplete. Buckeyes run out the clock. They win it 20-13. With more from Happy Valley, Rob Stone, the Big Noon Kickoff crew.
A Beaver Stadium record, 111,030 witnessed James Franklin suffer his 11th straight top 5 defeat. The Buckeyes go to 1-1 in top 5 games. They get a huge victory, keeps their Big Ten and playoff hopes alive. 2 weeks ago, the defensive line was under stress at Ohio State. Coming into this game, it was the offensive line that was being maligned. Both of them showed up this week. So did Ryan Day.
Everything's under stress at Ohio State.
Right?
My gosh, that was one of the best wins of the Ryan Day era. You talk about toughness, check mark, you saw toughness. The offensive line that did not perform well against Nebraska won this game. The offensive line quieted the crowd. This was not a tough crowd to play in after that first half, after the first quarter. And if you want to see what toughness is, the 4-minute drill, Brady, that's when you have to end the game. They started on the 1-yard line, drove it 59 to 60 yards, 11 straight runs, 5 minutes and 13 seconds. That's toughness. You were going to show that over and over and over again. That's your program. So, Coach Day, congrats.
Shout out to the Ohio State red zone defense. The name of the game is to score touchdowns, and Penn State was not able to do that because of this Ohio State defense. They got down to the red zone 4 times, 2 field goals, an interception, and a huge goal line stand on the 3-yard line. So shout out to this defense. They won the game for them, and they've been a strong unit for them all year.
Yeah, Penn State lost this game with those 2 red zone drives, the one before half, Igbenos, and an unbelievable interception. But then the final attempt they had, they turn over on downs after Tyler Warren gets them down there with a rush, and then you don't give him even a touch, a look, anything for 4 plays, your best player?
Come on.
That's what they lost the game.
A great win for Ohio State, but I do want to touch on Penn State. This is the beauty of the 12-team playoff. They're still very much in this, and the schedule that shapes up, they're going to finish 11-1 and have a pretty good seed in the college football playoff. They need to learn from this. Tough, gritty win. They answered a lot of questions today. Ohio State did as well.
Up next for the Buckeyes, Purdue at Northwestern, and then unbeaten ranked Indiana comes into Columbus before they take on Michigan.
So Ohio State wins its 8th straight game against Penn State, and really this game should have been worse for Ohio State against Penn State. but their defense, Ohio State's defense, came up big in critical times.
They came up huge all day. I mean, Ohio State was really kind of in a slugfest because their offense kept falling short. But when they had to have it, they did. Penn State, from the 3-yard line, stopped. And then they attempt to pass right there with 1 yard to go. And all Penn State had to do was capitalize. I heard a Hall of Fame coach tell me one time, if we can't score from the 1, we don't deserve to win. I said, there's nothing more true than that. If you can't get a yard or 2 yards, you don't deserve to win the football game. Ohio State deserved to win this football game and win the game they did, Coach.
I'll tell you what, the thing that you mentioned this earlier about another team. Like, I didn't think this was Ohio State's fastball, the best they could play, playing the number 4 team in the country on the road, and they still gutted it out and found a way. That first half was really shaky for that Ohio State offense. And Penn State had all the momentum coming into this game, which is so huge at this time. And for Ohio State to go in there and get this done, I mean, this is really going to boost I think it's going to boost Will Howard's confidence. I think it's going to boost that offense because now moving the left guard, Donovan Jackson, to the left tackle. Like, that was really, really impressive what they did to get this done without playing their very, very best football.
Yeah, they overcame adversity. Will Howard probably cost him about 21 points to pick 6, losing a fumble, went through the end zone, and then he missed a wide-open receiver that was out of bounds there. When you look at Penn State, though, I mean, you think about the mentality. Even though this is a loss, they can't beat Michigan, they can't beat Ohio State once again for the 8th straight year. It's almost like there's a movie called Life, and there's a character that can't get right. Penn State can't get right when it comes to the top teams in the nation. How will this affect them going forward, even if they get into the playoffs?
It's a soul-crushing loss for Penn State. This is as bad as Ohio State's going to play. You know, you throw an interception for a touchdown, you fumble at the goal line, lose a touchdown, you miss a wide-open touchdown. This is probably as least talented as an Ohio State quarterback is going to be. They usually have Justin Fields, Cardell Jones, C.J. Stroud, and you couldn't get it done. A soul-crushing loss for Penn State.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one, but if I'm James Franklin, there's still a lot of ball to be played. We still got a great shot to go to the tournament. Drew Aller was probably playing, 75, 85% healthy. They get him back going. You know, there's a lot of ball to be played. They're going to have to beat someone where they're an underdog to take that next step.
We'll see what that team will be moving forward. Meanwhile, Miami is off to an 8-0 start. And now the Hurricanes look to go to 9-0 for the first time since 2017, but they got to get past Duke and former coach Manny Diaz. They were down 11 at one point in the third quarter, but they took over from there. Elijah Lofton right there, giving them a 4-point lead, and then Cam Ward, who was outstanding. He's been outstanding all season long.
I'll tell you what, the one thing about this Miami team is they know how to come back and win.
And Jacoby George there, they outscored them 36-3 the rest of the way.
Look how fast that ball comes out of Cam Ward's hand. And that's why the NFL guys are loving it.
And Xavier Restrepo, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. Cam Ward, 5 TD passes. Miami wins 53-31. Virginia Tech, Syracuse, LaQuinn Allen in overtime. Hard running. Gets into the end zone. Syracuse up by 7. So Tech needs a touchdown, force that second overtime, but Colin Schlee can't do this. Can't give it up. Fidel Diggs recovers, and the Qs wins it 38-31. How about number 19 Ole Miss in Arkansas, Jackson Dart?
How about Jackson Dart?
There's some criticism because he went trick-or-treating.
He needs to go trick-or-treating every Friday night.
Jordan Watkins right there, 66-yard touchdown. He had 4 TD passes in the first half. Ole Miss up 28-3. A scary play here. Henry Parrish Jr. up the middle. 3-yard gain, but he's down in some pain here. Helped off the field, would not return. Dart and the boys just too much. Watkins is wide open. He had 5 touchdowns on the day.
How about that? And Dart had 6.
Yeah, Ole Miss wins it 63-31. Oklahoma's offense came alive against Maine. Javonte Barnes.
It's a faceless opponent at this point.
Hey, man, it's like
coming alive.
Stats are still stats. That's why you say stats are for losers sometimes. Coach Javonte Barnes, 203 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Sooners get the win 59-14. Minnesota, number 24, Illinois. This game was on FS1 earlier. Max Brosmer.
Good competitive football game. Sorry, Mike. This is a good game.
Minnesota up 22-17, failed 2-point conversion. Luke Altmaier trying to lead his team down the field, trying to get that tying score possibly, but nope. gets sacked and fumbles. Danny Strigow recovers. Gophers win it 25-17, their fourth straight win. Air Force Army. Army has yet to trail in a game this season.
If there's one thing you need to do against Army is stop the dive play up the middle.
And doing it without their starting quarterback, their star quarterback, but Kanye Udoh was game. Army wins it 20-3. Hey, tomorrow we've got a huge NFL doubleheader on Fox. First, Cowboys take on the Falcons. Other regional action, then it's America's game of the week as Jared Goff leads the Lions against Jordan Love and the Packers, or Rams and Seahawks. Check your local listings for the games in your area tomorrow on Fox. Second half of your game is coming up.
It must be the Unis in the 8th annual Space Game. The first half ends on a Hail Mary, and the Knights up 35-6. They have been unbelievable. 389 total yards. They have scored on 5 straight drives, up 35-6. Everything that could go right did go right, Robert Smith, for the Knights, and this is after massive changes this week. They fire defensive coordinator Ted Roof. They promote Addison Williams, a new play caller on the offensive side of the ball. Gus Malzahn gives that up as well. I guess it's just what the doctor ordered.
It's what the doctor ordered, you know, and there's a saying that a battle plan rarely survives contact with the enemy. Well, their battle plan certainly looked pretty good there in that first half, and they really controlled the ball up front. You could see Ja'Cory Brown getting back in there, being promoted from that starting quarterback spot, but still able to get that zone read in there. And we saw Harvey running the ball. Everybody along that offensive line, I thought, did a tremendous job. Montgomery getting one in, and then why not? Dylan Riss getting the ball up to Pittman at the end of the first half with the Hail Mary throw. But you know what? I know it sounds funny. It's one play at a time, man. You just cannot relax. But a great job in that first half, Tim Harris. And really, this is something Gus Malzahn said to us. He's been preparing Tim Harris to be promoted to that play caller spot. Tim Harris said this is the farthest north he's been in the state of Florida. He grew up and coached down there, down in southern Florida near Miami. So being up here in Orlando is as far north as he's been, and coming north has been good for this UCF program.
And it's the first time he has called plays on the college level. Last time he called plays was at Booker T. Washington down there in South Florida, as you alluded to. His dad is the head coach down there. He is the son of a coach. He grew up around football, went to the University of Miami, a speed merchant back in the day. He was a track guy.
He's an 800 guy, which is one heck of a race. But I remember those Booker T days, Ja'Cory Harris and Travis Benjamin, and you know, Randy Shannon became their coach at the University of Miami. It was fun because I was living down there in South Florida. Booker T produces a lot of great players and apparently some good coaches.
Well, let's see if Arizona can capitalize on that momentum at the end of the first half. At least it was their momentum until the Hail Mary was completed. What a crazy ending. UCF seemingly can't make a mistake. It is a big hole that Arizona is trying to battle back from, but the rain seems to have subsided here, so perhaps that bodes well for Noah Fifita and the passing game.
Still need to be careful, though, if you're a ball carrier, because they have some moisture on the ground.
Fifita using his wheels out of bounds at about the 23-yard line.
And what I mean by that is because when they put that ball on the ground, you know, that ball just tends to get wet, right? So still want to secure the ball, but Arizona's just got to find an answer. Somebody's got to rise up and make a play. And who has it been time and time again? T-Mac, Tedero McMillan. And we talked about Addison Williams becoming the defensive play caller, defensive coordinator with Ted Roof being fired this week. He's found a way most times to get a second defender up over top of McMillan.
And here we are on 3rd and 12. Pressure coming. Down goes Noah. It's Ricky Barber with his second sack of the season.
Just watch the little twist move that they have on the inside. Ricky Barber, he's going to work back in there as Kelly takes the attention of one of the guards. And they get home. And Fafita, we talk about his ability to run, but Barber just on him way too fast. Boy, what a duo in the middle with Hunter and Barber.
They knew they would be a lot to deal with. Punt nearly blocked as whistles blowing and flags flying.
Prior to the ball being snapped, false start, number 10, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So penalty's going to back them up.
Yeah, and you find out a lot about your kids when you're in a situation like this, 35-6, and Brent Brennan said it. Not worried about what people outside the program have to say. I know I'm trying to build our program.
Salgado Medina from deep in his own end zone.
Man.
Gets off a beauty, bounces inside the 30, inside the 25. Going to go in the books as a 71-yard punt for Michael Salgado Medina.
Boy, and they had the one down inside the one. Of course, UCF promptly took that 99 for a score, but a nice job there again from Salgado Medina doing his part, right? It's just your 111th. And I know people that don't play the game, like those things sound corny, you know, those sayings, but I said you find out a lot about your team in situations like this. Just go do your 111th. You could never do more than that as long as you stay within the structure of what you're supposed to do, and it's a decent plan. You'll have a chance for success.
RJ Harvey's done what he's supposed to do thus far. What a move on the outside to pick up the first.
And Harvey, he gets Goss to stop his feet. Watch the acceleration there. The ability to get away from Goss, not even a chance. Boy, he's just got everything in his game. And this is the perfect situation for it, up 35-6. Grind some clock here in the second half.
21 first down so far. Here's Harvey again, this time unable to bounce. Genesis Smith wraps him up. He's the first Wildcat there. We mentioned Harvey over 100 yards. He's at 123 with 2 touchdowns right now, but the time of possession is incredible for UCF. Going into the locker room at halftime, they had already possessed the ball more than they did the entire game against BYU.
It's incredible. It's incredible, and it's just so difficult if you're a defense as well, a defense that's banged up and just doesn't have much depth.
Risk over the middle. Going to be about 4 yards shy of the first down. That was Pittman making the catch. Of course, the hero of the end of this first half. The crazy thing about that Pittman catch, he came into the game with the most receptions and yards among Big 12 tight ends without a touchdown. And what a way to get your first touchdown.
Incredible. Arizona having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out this bunch.
He doesn't even look that way. Instead, it's the old reliable number 16, Jacoby Jones, who is carrying dudes with him to the 40-yard line. The 5th-year senior from Tunica, Mississippi, picking up 22.
Yeah, Jacoby Jones from Mississippi, just like K.J. Jefferson. K.J. Jefferson was important in getting him to the program. 1-1 against Dacario Davis, the best cover guy for Arizona.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense, 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That was Goss who got a hand in there. Rough couple of plays for the senior safety, the transfer from Colgate.
Yeah, and what did Tim Harris say to us? He's like talking about Dakario Davis, like that's their best cover guy, right? He's like, come on, coach, don't gas him up like that. Like, please, give me an opportunity to go one-on-one with him, and Jacoby Jones did it right there.
Risk. Swallowed up by Lolesio.
Offside, number 45. Defense was lined up in the neutral zone. It's a 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Kevon Darton.
Boy, this is the kind of thing that just drives you crazy if you're a coach too, right? Just Dwayne Aquina, but Brent Brennan, you know, they had the penalty on the punt. You know, you get all these different units, just those little mistakes can add up.
Scary Brown back in at quarterback. And he's going to give. Here he is again. R.J. Harvey with his third score of the game.
We talk about the way that Gus Malzahn designs play and Tim Harris calls the play. A little split zone action there. And Evan Morris, the tight end, moves to the right side of the line. Harvey moves to the left. And once again, Arizona, no contain on the outside.
Extra point is good. 140 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game for Harvey.
Have a day.
Welcome back to Orlando. This is the space game.
Nice.
That is the Citronaut. Little throwback, that used to be the mascot for UCF. And there is the new version of the Citronaut. Listen, they should do the space game every week because they are on their way to being 8-0. Their average margin of victory in the space game, about 29 points. It's incredible. Here's Patterson. Just past the 25.
I like the homage to 2001, A Space Odyssey there on the Blue Danube by Strauss playing there with the little clip.
You always know the music. Honoring the Artemis 1, launched in 2022, the first manned launch scheduled for next year. And they are certainly, I mean, we're on the heels of Halloween, right? So everybody still has their uniforms. And in Orlando, I guess everybody dresses up as an astronaut.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 26, Central Florida. That is his first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. It's a 15-yard penalty, first down, Arizona.
Yeah, cool area down here. This is Titusville around here. I jumped out of a plane at 15,000 feet, not too far from Cape Canaveral. A lot of fun things to do in middle Florida.
Did you guys?
I had a parachute.
You got to go Central Florida. You can't go middle Florida.
Well,
I mean, I know you were a South Florida guy for a while. Pass complete out to the left side, picking up the first down, and on the move is Sam Olsen. Caught that touchdown pass earlier. He's looking good. Gain of 10.
Sam Olsen caught that touchdown pass earlier, man. He's feeling it. That's what you need, man. Just stack some good plays. It's going to be Wooten, it looks like, that right tackle spot, just backing up a little bit early, a little anxious.
False start, number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, and of course you don't want to make excuses for anybody, right? It's always next man up, but you don't know who that next man up is going to be. Sometimes it's going to be some younger players, and they've had a lot of movement on that offensive line with Taupo Totai going out at that left tackle spot. Had to move Naya over to left tackle.
You don't see that a whole lot. Fafita off the mark behind the line of scrimmage looking for Patterson. You know, we talked about the injuries on the defensive side of the ball for Arizona. There's been a ton of movement on the offensive line because of those injuries, as you talked about. Michael Wooten, who was called for that penalty, making just his second career start. This is just the third college football game he's ever played in. 75 there, you see the center is the only offensive lineman who hasn't started at a different position, who started every game at the same spot this year. Not easy to do. Swinging it out to Conley. Mac McWilliams on the stop for UCF.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Addison Williams and Gus Malzahn made the point about the struggles that they've had on 3rd and long as a defense, and they pointed to their performance on 2nd and long. Some of the opportunities that they had, a good call right there to keep it 3rd and more than 10.
Pressure coming. Fajita buying some time. Unbelievable the catches made by Chris Hunter. He has been so good the last couple of weeks. Despite pass interference, which is coming, he makes the catch.
Well, I'm not sure why he didn't go to Tetero McMillan wide open on the left, but you could see.
Defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Nice route there by Hunter. Getting all the way back to the outside. McMillan, at first, he was like, throw me the ball, and he saw that it was a first down, and he went into congratulations mode. I tell you, that's a sign of what kind of player Tetero McMillan is. All receivers want the football, but he's the kind of guy that roots for the other guys in the receiver room. And he's singled up here on the left side of the formation.
Gonna keep it on the ground with Conley. He's down to the 2-yard line. (42-6). Arizona can score here. There's still plenty of time. We've seen this quick strike offense get it done before. But they need to get in there and get in there quickly. Conley's still in the backfield.
McMillan's matched up against Jakari Henderson, the sophomore, on the right side of the formation.
Into the end zone to McMillan.
Come on.
A one-handed snag. He pulls it into the body for the touchdown. And this is good on good. It was Jakari Henderson.
Number 1, defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
This is what makes him so special. Watch the concentration, the subtle push. The ball gets tipped slightly into the air the way that he gets up. Like, well, of course I caught that ball. Man, I love it. And, you know, in tight spaces, again, you know, I've had the opportunity to play with some great ones, a couple Hall of Famers with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. And those guys, you get a ball anywhere near them, I don't care what the defender's doing, my money's on those guys. That's what Ted McMillan is like.
Well, those guys were like an octopus. It's almost like they had 8 tentacles to catch the ball. They did catch everything.
Well, yeah, incredible catch radius and concentration, and fearless, too. Pretty good talkers as well.
Indeed they are, both of them. Nothing going. Fafita unable to find an open receiver on the 2-point conversion. They'll settle for 6. 42-12. What a catch by McMillan. Tetero McMillan with the touchdown now has 24 career touchdowns to cap that scoring drive, and moves into 3rd place in program history, now tied with Dennis Norcutt for most receiving touchdowns. Man, he's good.
Oh, he's very good, and the guy can play a little quarterback. He played quarterback until he got teamed up with that guy sitting next to him, Noah Fafita. He's like, oh, I guess I'm not a quarterback anymore.
Well, they have such great chemistry dating back to their days at Servite High School in the Anaheim area in Southern California. You can certainly see it when they get it going. Speaking of get things going, R.J. Harvey, basically from the jump, has had it going today.
Yeah, and I love that. He's catching the ball out of the backfield as well. It kind of reminds me of James Conner, who runs the ball down there with the Cardinals. He's got all kinds of power, the vision, the speed, and remember, he played some quarterback when he was in high school. Didn't need to throw the ball today, though, and the way that offensive line has performed, he's gotten to that second level free. Important now that Arizona defense steps up and starts making some plays.
Here's Risk, going to keep it himself, and I think there's going to be a flag there. Indeed, there is. Can't hit them when they're in the white, especially a quarterback. You know that's going to draw the flag.
And it's Taufau. It's going to come in with that late hit, and I know defenders say it all the time.
After the was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 37, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I think he means, well, I know he means 47.
Yeah.
He saw a 3 there and a
That's
47
for sure.
Yeah, but you know, guys, those defenders, they feel that they deserve to get a hit if they run that far, but that's not the way the officials see it.
A little bit too high for Kobe Hudson.
But even that right there by Dylan Risk just shows a little bit of maturity. Now, he kind of locked in there. He wanted to get the ball out on that side. Double clutched it a couple times, but rather than trying to force that ball in, said, okay, I'm going to throw this to my teammates on the sideline. Live to fight another down.
Yeah, exactly. Live to see another day. 2nd and 10. Coming up for Risk as you see the smile on Hudson. Easy to smile when you're up 42-12.
Ooh.
Another big run for Harvey. A 16-yard gain. Oh, by the way, R.J. Harvey has moved into 2nd all-time on the UCF rushing list, trailing only Kevin Smith.
Well, I mean, we have seen this time and time again. With a 3-man front, you fit runs differently. And what I mean by that, a lot of times those 3-down linemen, they're not playing those C-gaps to the outside. So your linebackers and your safeties have got to flow to the edges or you're going to get those long runs. That's exactly what we've seen all day. Dwayne Aquina, very experienced defensive coordinator. The guy's got to execute.
Risk looking up the right side. Got him! Jacoby Jones from 40 yards out.
.6'3", 228 pounds, but he wins against Carnley quick with the double move, the stop and go. And Carnley in that trail position does what he's supposed to do. Doesn't get his eyes back, just trying to fight the hands, but the hands of Jacoby Jones were too far in front of him to make any difference. Perfect throw once again from Dylan Risk.
Jacoby Jones, such a great story, has just slowly but steadily climbed the ladder from Northwest Mississippi Community College to 2 years at Ohio University to here at UCF, and he is still making strides and still getting better. The bounce house is rocking. We had some rain early on, and the fans remain unfazed. How about the student section? Yes, it is the space game. They play it once a year. They've done so for the last 8 years, and UCF trying to remain perfect in the space game, coming in a perfect 7-0. Patterson finding a little room as he returns this out past the 35-yard line, and appear to be well on their way to improving to 8-0. As we do have a flag down.
I got to get one of those jerseys. Initial call is holding.
During the return, holding, number 10, receiving team. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
I hadn't seen that right shoulder on the jersey. I think is Pegasus, and on the left side, it's Orion. Important stuff to know about the space jersey.
How about these numbers? Seven rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. As many touchdowns by UCF as Arizona has rushing yards. Surely you can't be serious.
I am, and stop calling me Shirley.
Well played. Fafita getting chased. Gets it off nearly complete to his tight end, Sam Olsen. Can't hold on. Pressure coming from Dalen Dotson.
Yeah, we saw Sam Olsen once a touchdown earlier, and when you get the balls to your tight end sometimes like that, Noah Fafita, you got to throw the change up, especially when it's not on the frame. It's Olsen, but he should have caught that one, definitely. And there's those little plays, man. Like, you say it again and again. I don't care what the score in the game is. Just do your job every play.
Quick pass complete. Chris Hunter making the catch, running into his own guy. Could have had a few more yards. Did a nice job kind of regrouping after that.
Yeah, what did I say earlier? When those big linemen get running, man, and to get them turned, it's like turning an aircraft carrier. And Michael Wooten at that right tackle spot, he comes out of there. But Michael Wooten almost got the worst of that. You had a big man like that when he's running, a lot of times he's going to lose his balance.
Wooten coming in at 6'5", 315 pounds, 3rd and 4. They need the big fellas up front to hold up here. 4-man rush for UCF.
That's a hold. It's like, how do they not call that?
And indeed they do. You saw it coming from a mile away.
Sheldon Arnold in the coverage there on T-Mac. He's trying to get away. He said, what? I can't hold? When did they change that rule? You can see T-Mac on the inside of that stack.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 9, defense. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well,
if you're going to hold him, you might as well at least hold him.
Yeah, that's right. Buy the ticket, take the ride, man. But if you're a defensive player or a defensive coach, you may say, well, Tetero and McMillan kind of got into him as well, but that was holding.
Keeping it on the ground with Conley. Forced out of bounds by Ladarius Tennyson. Brings up 2nd down.
Well, they might have more rush yards now than UCF has touchdowns. But seriously, I mean, coming into the day, Dino Babers told us, like, we have to try and find a way to run the football, but you're down 49-12 now. You got to make some big chunk plays in the pass game.
Again, keeping it on the ground with Conley. That's going to bring up 3rd and 3, maybe 4. Dino Babers, the offensive coordinator, the former Syracuse head coach, ceded play calling duties to Matt Atkins, who took over after the Kansas State game. So Atkins, who's the tight end coach, calling plays for the 6th time in his career. He was with head coach Brent Brennan for 7 years at San Jose State. 3rd and 5 here. Over the middle, heck of a catch. And again, it's Chris Hunter. Chris Hunter had a defender all over him.
Hey, and I know if you're an Arizona fan, you're like, maybe who cares? But I just love to see the players play like this. And again, this is something Brent Brennan talked about. Said, I know that the fans get impatient, but we're building a program. Plays like that show it.
Unbelievable job escaping a couple of tacklers, but unable to get back to the line of scrimmage is Kedrick Risano. Going to go in the books as a loss of 4.
Sometimes you get beat by alignment. Sometimes defensive players read their keys so well. Nixon that time, and sees his tackle pull and trails his tackle. Is able to make that play. And that's where it can be frustrating, man. This is where you earn your stripes. As a play caller and as a player, things are tough. You got to be tougher.
Fafita on 2nd and 14. Pressure coming off the edge. Gets it off. And gets a nice gain. It was Exree Alexander. He barely gets it off on time. So brings up a 3rd and manageable. Heck of a job by Fafita to complete that pass with the pressure coming.
Well, 3rd down's irrelevant at this point, right? You're down 49-12. Everything's 4-down territory pretty much. Unless you're in your own end. So as a play caller, you may try and get an underneath route designed.
Fafita with time. Pressure coming. Got him! Another sack for UCF. And this time it's Malachi Lawrence from his defensive end spot. 3rd sack of the year for Lawrence.
Well, Noah Fafita's gotten so much better at this over the last couple of weeks, not retreating when there's pressure, but when that pocket collapses like that, there's really just nothing he's going to be able to do. Credit Noah Fafita for standing in there, trying to keep his eyes downfield to make a throw downfield, but credit that UCF defense with the coverage sack.
And it was Exree Alexander with the pressure that forced Fafita to run right into Malachi Lawrence. So certainly a joint effort on the defensive side of the ball for the Knights, who have been so good here on their home turf in the space game. A 49-12 lead with 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Arizona head coach Brent Brennan in his first season in Tucson, and what a wild ride it has been. Nick Saban retires, and then it is just a coaching carousel. Jed Fish leaves Arizona, goes to Washington. Brent Brennan leaves San Jose State, goes to Arizona, and Ken Niumatalolo ends up at San Jose State, and it's the Spartans who have the best record of the bunch. And how about this guy? He has been so good all season long. R.J. Harvey ripping off another 17-yard run.
Well, Ta'afu Ao, number 47 on the left side of the defense, has an opportunity there to get R.J. Harvey, but he just breaks the tackle. You know, we've talked about all day long, they just have not been able to contain on the edges. And there you could see it wasn't because of the defensive structure not being in the right place. Just missing the tackle.
Jakari Brown in at quarterback again. He keeps it and puts it on the ground. And bounces right back to him. Dalton Johnson was there as well for Arizona, but here comes Brown off the field, and risk, maybe a little less risky, having him in the game at this point.
Yeah, and Dalton Johnson, he kind of plays that middle linebacker spot. You know, they kind of go to this 3-3-5 look. Sometimes they go with a dime look, you know, because of the injuries that they've had on the back end. Johnson from that linebacker spot almost knocked that ball out.
Harvey again gets his helmet ripped off. I don't know how you don't throw a flag there, and there they go. Couple of come in from both sides of the field. You don't see that very often, where it's just ripped off and flies about 15 yards.
Yeah, I think that was Isaiah Johnson that usually was in there. Yeah, there he is. Oh, he grabs a face mask and throws
just
the helmet.
chucks it. And Harvey takes a couple of hits. I don't think those defenders realized his helmet was off. Really don't think there was anything malicious there.
Foul, face mask, number 91, defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Number 7 remained in the game since his helmet came off due to foul.
That insult to injury right there, right? And how many times have we seen, even in this second half alone, you know, whether it's offsides, false start penalties, little things like that. And those details matter. And as tough as it is to watch the film after games like this, when you're trying to build a program, those kind of lessons that can be taught from those types of mistakes can help you moving forward.
UCF wisely keeping it on the ground again with Miles Montgomery, who's had a couple of nice runs as well.
And remember, Dwayne Aquina, he's been around that Arizona program all the way back to the 80s. Dick Tomey took that job. He talked about how difficult it was to build that program, but look what they did with that desert swarm defense and pull-up effort plays. And he's got his work cut out for him building this defense back.
Time winding down here in the third. The space uni's looking good on UCF. Everything looking good for UCF. T-Mac with a touchdown catch for Arizona. The Wildcats have some work to do if they want to get back into this one. Somehow this is Arizona's first game in the Eastern time zone in this millennium. The last time, 1999, they lost to the Nittany Lions in Happy Valley, but there were some familiar faces on the coaching staff for that Arizona squad, both involved in the game today. Dino Babers, the offensive coordinator currently, and Dwayne Aquina, the defensive coordinator. Johnny Richardson on the carry. And there is Coach Aquina.
He is awesome, man. He's so much fun to talk to. And, he talked about the recruiting process and knows that he's going to need get some good players in. And he said Dick Tomey told him early, recruit him like you're recruiting your own son. And that's the way that he's approached it.
And it was interesting because he said it doesn't always help you. Sometimes you can be too honest with the kids. I may have lost a few. And nowhere to go. That Arizona defense led by Tay Brown and Uyunglele in there. It's just so fun to talk to Dwayne Aquina, a guy who's been around so long in his second stint at Arizona after being part of that Desert Swarm defense, because he has patience. He knows that he's playing so many young guys, and it's one of those you can control what you can control type of situations. You have 3 defensive captains, 2 of them in the secondary that go down. You're replacing them with freshmen and sophomores. It's not easy.
Yeah, and talk here in a minute after the punt.
Fair catch called for by Patterson inside the 10-yard line. A 41-yard punt from Grant Reddick. Check that, Mitch McCarthy.
Fans, remember, fans is short for fanatic, right? Like, we're not known for their patience or being rational. They don't want to hear those things a lot of time, but this is the reason Brent Brennan wanted Dino Babers and Dwayne Aquina on this staff, because they had been a part of the process like this before. And Dwayne Aquina was sharing that story, when Larry Smith took off from Arizona to become the coach at USC. That's when Dick Tomey took his staff there at Arizona, and just a few years later, they were 4-7 still. But then you fast forward a few years, and they were shutting out Miami.
Keeping it in the ground, picks up maybe 2. Ethan Barr on the stop for UCF.
And I know that this has come up so much in college football now with NIL and the transfer portal. I mean, we need a different system, and I think that they're moving towards it. I talked about having a commissioner over football. What they need is they need somebody that oversees scheduling. You got to have revenue sharing. You got to have some sort of salary cap. You have to have some sort of salary floor. Too many haves and have-nots. Looks like baseball.
Pressure coming on 2nd and 9. Looking downfield, complete to Jeremiah Patterson. Tremendous job from Fafita. Fafita buys time.
Yeah, this is one where the play caller Matt Atkins and the offensive coordinator Dino Babers, don't throw late over the middle. No. Okay, all right, you got it. You saw him. Don't. If you do it, you better know something. And certainly Fafita knew it there.
Fafita Setting the feet to throw again. This one to Ricino, breaks a tackle. 2 yards shy of the line to gain. Ethan Barr again on the stop for UCF. Yeah, it's like in a basketball game. Don't shoot, don't shoot. Oh, good shot. Made it 3.
Knew it all along. Right. Fafita missed an opportunity there to hit Patterson. Patterson came back after that previous catch for the first down and ran a great route. Ran towards the post. It ran kind of like a post corner. It was open, but Fafita didn't throw it to him.
Nice job by that UCF defense stretching out that run. Again, it's Barr on the stop. He is making his presence felt here in the fourth quarter from that middle linebacker spot.
Yeah, and you know, this is one where Arizona fans are sitting at home and saying, what are you doing even running the football when it's 49-12 in the fourth quarter? But from a coaching perspective, you just need to stack reps. And those live reps in practice just aren't the same as doing it in a game. So you want to stay a little bit balanced for that reason.
Run a couple of times, then take a shot like this. And it's Chris Hunter again. Hunter's having a day. Came into the game with 11 catches for 92 yards, has 5 for 77 here.
You know, it's interesting. You know, you think about the psychology of coaching, and you know, I love hearing the different stories and approaches of these coaches. And you know, my favorite line about coaching is a good coach makes you a better player, a great coach makes you a better person. These type of situations test you.
Fafita buying time, completes it to his running back, Ricino. Malachi Lawrence with the pressure. Fafita doing a nice job in the pocket, just kind of maintaining his cool. You know, the crazy thing about Fafita, he's had one full season of college football. He's already 10th on the all-time touchdown list at Arizona. That's how good this young man is. Not going away from the run here on second down. Nigel Kelly on the stop for the Knights.
Yeah, and to that point about Fafita, had the pass that was almost intercepted earlier, but he had gone 9 straight games with an interception until that West Virginia game last week. So doing a better job taking care of the football.
Yeah, no interceptions for the first time all season for Fafita last week. Looking downfield, right sideline, making the catch. Once again, it's Chris Hunter. And that's going to put him over 100 yards on the day.
Watch this body control by Chris Hunter on the outside. When he comes out of the break, that ball is going to be low into the outside from Fafita. Body control, field awareness, drag that toe. They're going to take another look at it, see if he controlled it. They just call him timeout.
Robert, you're so right. He had that left foot right there on the sideline. They're taking a look at it as we speak. 49-12, back after a break. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but his are the only ones that really matter. Colin Cowherd, the most interesting man in sports. Don't miss The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern, only on FS1. The man's doing everything. Getting into the restaurant business as well. Always a good listen to Colin Cowherd. Speaking of good, it has been nothing but good for UCF. Fafita and Arizona looking for a little of their own good. How about a reverse? It is positive yardage, maybe not quite as much as they were hoping for. Montana Lamonius Craig picks up 5, the Colorado transfer.
Yeah, Noah Fafita got just enough of his body in the way of Deshaun Pace at that linebacker spot. Deshaun, the brother of Ivan Pace, Cincinnati great, that is now starting linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, flags down.
False start. Offense. Multiple players moved, but the center did not snap the ball. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Again, we talked about the offensive line and how much they've moved around. A lot of these guys playing new positions. Michael Wooten, the right tackle, playing in his 3rd college football game. Wendell Moy has moved around. Now he's at right guard. Josh Baker, the only guy that's played the same position all season. Penalty makes it 2nd and 10. And how about that hit, Ladarius Tennyson stand up?
Boy, he could have got a flag on that one, but Tennyson, you know, when you bring the pressure, you know, I talk about blitz and replace. Well, this is just a good job by Addison Williams preparing his defense for the situation. We're going to bring pressure. What's their answer likely to be? Throw to the flat. Get a defender, Tennyson, covering the flat right away. Nice secure tackle.
3rd and 13. Complete inside the 40, inside the 35.
You're going to go
Jeremiah
here.
Patterson, you have to. That's now 10 straight completions for Fafita. Saw him heat up late in the game last week against West Virginia. And they need him on the boil right now. Under 7 minutes to go. 6 for 13 on 4th downs this year. Pressure coming. Nowhere to go for Noah Fafita. Nigel Kelly, his 3rd sack of the season, and he is making moves in his first year at UCF after transferring from Miami. The defense has been alive.
Now we're going to go back to that previous play, the 4th down play, and Addison Williams, the defensive coordinator, really comes up with a nice blitz here. Not even pictured here is Deshaun Pace, who's going to be bringing that pressure from the right side. Quali Conley not able to get over there in time. And what you want to do as a defensive coordinator is show pressure one way, drop guys out, and bring somebody from an unexpected area.
Got a little room and making a play is Devarius Johnson, picking up 13.
Go back to that point real quick, and both Gus Malzahn and Addison Williams talked about getting better in those 2nd and 3rd, and of course they're 4th and long situations.
Woo. Risk complete. And how about that dart to Randy Pittman?
That's just feeling it right there, man. Because you're feeling it. I mean, Dylan Risk, you talk about the fact that he's not quite the runner that those other guys were, but you could see what kind of thrower he is. We've been able to see it all day long. Throws an absolute dart, and that really was the problem when you looked at Ja'Cory Brown, just so inconsistent with his accuracy, and Risk hits his receiver in stride.
How about that run? You know, it's not going to look sexy when you look at the stat sheet, but something out of nothing is what R.J. Harvey has done repeatedly the last 2 years.
Boy, it's really so fun to watch him. He just does everything. You know, the start and stop ability, the acceleration, you know, for a guy his size, to be able to stop like that, accelerate, covers a lot of ground with his lateral cuts. He's such a great player.
How about Montgomery?
Look at Risk
getting a block from his quarterback. Getting out in front of him.
Look at Miles is like,
oh
hey,
boy.
Man. Oh no.
He might have got popped.
He's okay. He's walking it off.
He might not do that again.
You see, he's going to try and get in front of Montgomery here. Just throw a little block. Let's see what happens.
Ooh. Right there in the kidneys. Shakari Brown checking into the ball game for risk on 2nd and 2. Keeping it on the ground again, and here is Montgomery stretching.
You're going to see where that left knee comes down.
Holding. Number 76.
Not going to matter.
Offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
We've had some interesting numbers offensively, and that is Adrian Medley, one of the veterans here on this UCF offensive lines.
You could hear the fans excited to see Dylan Risk going back on the field, take some snaps after taking a play off.
Just like
shaken up.
Willis Reed back in the day coming in for the Knicks. No, you're not going with that one?
Who? Did you say world? Did you say world be free?
Oh my!
Cavs?
Oh my gosh! Like a true Ohio guy, talking legendary stuff.
So am I. Larry Nance? Is that what you said?
We can't take the Ohio out of the kid, huh?
No.
Well, you look ahead, and UCF came into this one having lost 5 straight games after a 3-0 start, desperately needing a win to keep their bowl hopes alive. But this is nothing new for them. They started 3-0 last year. They lost 5 in a row, and then they qualified for a bowl game by winning 3 out of their last 4. Here's their last 3. So you get this win in the books, and then you have Arizona State and West Virginia on the road, Utah here at home to wrap things up. Certainly, in terms of the whole realm of the Big 12, not the most daunting schedule you could possibly have, but this is a step in the right direction.
And they would tell you, don't you dare talk about anything beyond what we have to do for the rest of this game and next week.
I'll start. Number 2, offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Kobe Hudson. He wanted to get in the end zone a little quick.
Yeah, why not? You got 49 on the board. Why not a couple more? Kobe doesn't have his yet.
It's like Mr. Burns. Somebody said he was the richest guy. He said, yeah, but I'd give it all up for just a little bit more.
Miles Montgomery wrapped up. Earlier we saw a shot of the offensive coordinator, Tim Harris Jr., who has done just a marvelous job in his first time in the college ranks calling plays.
Yeah, and this is something that Gus Malzahn told us that he had really been grooming Tim Harris for, and of course that schedule accelerated because of the firing of Ted Roof, and Gus Malzahn making that move and wanted to be able to oversee more of the operations on both sides of the ball.
On 3rd and 13, complete over the middle, trying to get to the sticks is Kylan Fox. He's going to be a little bit short. So ball's on the 5-yard line, about a yard shy.
Yeah, so you can't kick the field goal here because be accused of running up the score. So now you just try and run it in, maybe. I don't know. It's like the pitching rules. I don't understand all of the rules and why the pitchers get offended and all that stuff. But there's some rule about not kicking a field goal, I guess, when you're up 49-12.
Shakari Brown going to keep it himself. And he does pick up the first down inside the 1-yard line. And UCF here with 2 minutes on the clock. 2-minute timeout has arrived. What an afternoon it has been here in Orlando for these Knights in desperate need of a win, and they make an emphatic statement here. 2 to go in O-Town. It's time for tonight's Smokin' Player of the Game, sponsored by Old Trapper. Old Trapper, what's your beef? RJ Harvey, 22 for 184, just a cool 8 yards per carry, and he had 3 touchdowns.
And I love seeing that last stat, 9 rushes of 10-plus yards. Those explosive type runs, so important for offensive production, and offensive line's really done a tremendous job all day long. You know, running backs, we like to give love to the big uglies.
Risk, Pittman, touchdown UCF.
Second touchdown of the day for Pittman. Nice play action the other way, and Pittman kind of gets that sneak flat. It's tough to defend. You're Dalton Johnson, you see him coming across the formation like that and thinks he may be blocking. Dylan Risk did a nice job there on the sideline, not leaving one of his teammates hanging.
Randy Pittman came into the game without a touchdown. He has 2 here today. The second touchdown pass for Dylan Risk, and this his easiest one by far. Couple of big storylines coming into this one for UCF, and Dylan Risk making his first career start, the 4th different starting quarterback for UCF this year was one of them. He has been nothing short of spectacular. 20 of 25, 294 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and you could really see it at the end of the game against BYU a week ago, and just came right in. You could see the completion, just looked so composed, but I'm a dad joke kind of guy. I like the risk management today. Did a nice job not turning the ball over.
I agree with you, Robert. The composure has been the key from the very beginning of this game. It didn't seem too big for him. He was in the moment. He played well. He didn't force throws. He used his feet when he needed to. And, you know, they told us, hey, Tim Harris, who's calling the plays for the first time, as we look at Addison Williams, the defensive coordinator, who's also calling the plays for the first time. Just sudden change for this entire program over the weekend. But as for Risk, he did everything he was asked to do, everything he was needed to do. And, you know, the interesting thing now is they're talking about this young quarterback, E.J. Colson, who's only 17 years old, who has a bright future ahead of him, but maybe Risk can hold the fort down until he's ready.
Yeah, and in today's world of NIL and the portal, who knows what the future is going to hold, right? Like, who gets a commitment or doesn't get a commitment, or probably more importantly, who gets that check, right? But yeah, an incredible job today from Dylan Risk. And, you know, quarterbacks need to walk that line, man, and he's one of those kind of guys. It looks like it's reckless abandon sometimes, but it's really controlled aggression, and you called it. Not really making the mistakes, but understand when you need to push it. But they just needed to be better in the pass game, and he provided that today.
Brandon Johnson with the carry for Arizona, and now Arizona drops to 3-6. They have Houston, TCU, and Arizona State on the horizon, and would have to win out to be bowl eligible. And Brent Brennan, it's been a rough first year for him.
Yeah, and Brent Brennan was talking about it, you know, especially now today, you know, with social media, guys on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, and they hear all these messages from fans, and whether they're saying you're great or whether they're saying you're terrible, you just can't listen, right? Like, you just got to focus on your job. I think, unfortunately, a lot of Arizona fans came into this season, even with Jed Fish and a lot of those players, great players from a year ago leaving, came in with expectations that were just a little bit too high.
And UCF snaps a 5-game losing streak in emphatic fashion. Dylan Risk, the freshman, making his first career start, throws for nearly 300 yards. R.J. Harvey proves to be indeed one of the best running backs in the country, rushing for nearly 200 yards as he moves into second place all time on the UCF rushing list, trailing only the great Kevin Smith. And the Knights.
No relation that I know of.
Well, you were both great, and you're both Smiths. Although there are a lot of Smiths out there.
Tell me something about Alexander the Great. He was great.
Well, wasn't a fun road trip for Arizona, their longest road trip of the year, their first road trip to the Eastern Time Zone since 1999, but UCF needed this one, and they improved to 8-0 in space games. Gus Malzahn making massive changes a week ago, firing his defensive coordinator, replacing his play caller, and starting his fourth different quarterback. That man, Dylan Riss, stepping up and doing what needed to be done. The Knights with a huge win. For Biederman and Weimer and Smith, I'm Helly. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, big win, much-needed win for UCF, knocking off Arizona there as we welcome you to the FS1 College Football Extra, sponsored by The Fender. We are inside our LA studios. I'm Mike Hill, along with Emmanuel Acho and Chris Peterson. We get you caught up on action from around the country with our Land Rover Defender highlights. And let's start off with a game that's in progress right now, and that's number 2 Georgia and Florida, big-time rivalry here.
This was going to be a blowout, right?
Yeah.
Wrong.
There's backup quarterback Slagway. Oh, look at that. Ooh, I didn't see that before.
Not good.
Yeah, carted off. Remember, they're already without their starting quarterback there. And then Georgia was down at the half, but Nate Frazier gets into the end zone right there, and he ties the game at 13 apiece late in the third quarter there. Number 1 Oregon at Michigan in the big house, and Dylan Gabriel.
He can do this.
He can do it all. Arms, legs, and doing it with his legs right there. Arm and legs, 31-17. He might be ambidextrous, I don't know. Number 13, Indiana, Michigan State, Kurt Cignetti. Google him.
Hey, I want to Google, are these guys for real, for real?
Coach, they had never been down in any point this season. They were down 10-0 in this game, but look at the score now.
47 straight?
47 straight. That is correct. Good math by you. Number 11, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Rocco Beck.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal game because of the importance of it. Iowa State, no losses thus far, and the season with Kansas State, but they got to keep getting these wins on a weekly basis.
DYU up there with them in the Big 12. Baron Morton, Josh Kelly, Tech in as well. And right now, they're on top on the road, 17-16. Let's go back to Georgia. I mean, a little bit surprising. 13-13. Florida's been struggling all season long. Now they're playing with their third-string quarterback. But Georgia has been in games like this against Kentucky. Early on against Clemson, they were trailing. First half against Alabama, they struggled. Came back in the second half. What do you make of Georgia so far?
Well, what I make of this game is you can't underestimate ever the rivalry games. They're just too emotional. Guys show up and how is this happening? Especially with Florida being down to the third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
But Georgia, they're interesting. You know, that super tight game against Kentucky, who's pretty good on defense, but just where were they? Non-existent on offense against Alabama the first half, and then came storming back to the Green Bay Packers. And now it's kind of what's going on here. So they're still work in progress.
Yeah, the work in progress continues because the game is going on right now. And just a moment ago, Carson Beck, he steps up, it seems like, in the second half of games.
No doubt about it. I mean, he gets more comfortable second half of games, but that's really the dilemma with Georgia right now. It all hinges upon Carson Beck. Carson Beck has 3 consecutive games with multiple interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. 3 out of his last 4 games at minimum. 3 interceptions on the day. Georgia needed that touchdown desperately.
So Cash being Cash right there, giving the Bulldogs, number 2 team in the nation, the lead right now, 20-13. We'll keep you updated up until 4 o'clock Pacific time here. Meanwhile, coming into today, Ohio State had won 7 straight against Penn State. Today, the 2 programs met in a huge top 5 matchup. Happy Valley in our big noon kickoff game on Fox. Will Howard, starting quarterback for Ohio State, left some points on the board, and then he gave some away.
Tell you what, though, it was impressive to see Ohio State get down 10-0 and really swell up and battle back.
Yeah, you thought this was going to be Penn State's year. I mean, they had lost 7 in a row coming in, but then Howard bounces back, finds Brandon Ennis right here.
That's just phenomenal scheme by offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. You got the defense flowing to the left, you throw it back right.
And then Drew Allen, once again, Drew Allen and the crew, they made some pivotal mistakes late, too. Inside the red zone, only 2 field goals out of 4 red zone trips. Interception right there before the half by Ohio State. And then here, this is the play of the game right here. They had a 1st and goal from the 3, got down to the 1, 4th and goal right there. Drew Allen's pass incomplete, down by 7, and Ohio State holds on 20-13. Ryan Day after the game.
Yeah, just the toughness overall, just to stand in there and get that stand like that. It just shows the grit and toughness of this team. There's a smile right here on my face. And, I'm really proud of this team and the physicality. And then to get the ball on the 1-yard line and then finish the game the way we did on offense just shows the physicality of this team, the toughness of this team to go get this win. And, It feels really good. We're going to have some fun in Columbus tonight.
Hey, yeah, what he was talking about is they got the ball. They took over after the downs by Penn State right there, ran the clock out, literally ran the clock out on that Penn State defense. Well, more from Happy Valley. Here's Rob Stone in the Big Noon Kickoff crew.
A Beaver Stadium record 111,030 witnessed James Franklin suffer his 11th straight top 5 defeat. The Buckeyes go to 1-1 in top 5 games. They get a huge victory, keeps their Big Ten and playoff hopes alive. 2 weeks ago, the defensive line was under stress at Ohio State. Coming into this game, it was the offensive line that was being maligned. Both of them showed up this week. So did Ryan Day.
Everything's under stress at Ohio State.
Right?
My gosh, that was one of the best wins of the Ryan Day era. You talk about toughness. Check mark, you saw toughness. The offensive line that did not perform well against Nebraska won this game. The offensive line quieted the crowd. This was not a tough crowd to play in after that first half, after the first quarter. And if you want to see what toughness is, the 4-minute drill, Brady, that's when you have to end the game. They started on the 1-yard line, drove it 59 to 60 yards, 11 straight runs, 5 minutes and 13 seconds. That's toughness. You were going to show that over and over and over again. That's your program. So, Coach Day, congrats.
Shout out to the Ohio State red zone defense. The name of the game is to score touchdowns, and Penn State was not able to do that because of this Ohio State defense. They got down to the red zone 4 times, 2 field goals, an interception, and a huge goal line stand on the 3-yard line. So shout out to this defense. They won the game for them, and they've been a strong unit for them all year.
Yeah, Penn State lost this game with those 2 red zone drives, the one before half, Igbenogson, an unbelievable interception. But then the final attempt they had, they turn over on downs after Tyler Warren gets them down there with a rush, and then you don't give him even a touch, a look, anything for 4 plays, your best player?
Come on.
That's what they lost the game.
A great win for Ohio State, but I do want to touch on Penn State. This is the beauty of the 12-team playoff. They're still very much in this, and the schedule that shapes up, they're going to finish 11-1 and have a pretty good seed in the college football playoff. They need to learn from this. Tough, gritty win. They answered a lot of questions today. Ohio State did as well.
Up next for the Buckeyes, Purdue at Northwestern, and then unbeaten ranked Indiana comes into Columbus before they take on Michigan.
8 straight losses for Penn State now against Ohio State. Both of these teams left a lot of points on the board, but especially Penn State, the most important ones were the 7 points they left on the board. But give credit to that Ohio State defense coming through when they needed to. All game long they came through.
They really did. And I think it's just so interesting. You know, going in this game, Ohio State was in disarray, their offensive line, and how are they going to play? And they've now moved their left guard to tackle and how. But it really comes back to this defense, who after the Oregon game struggled a little bit. They have gotten better and better. And credit to Jim Knowles getting these guys going, and Ryan Day as well. But 270 total yards of offense for Penn State. Penn State was 3 for 11 on 3rd downs, 1 for 2 on 4th. And we know when we don't convert a 4th down, that's the same as a turnover. And then on top of that, they got 2 turnovers, a pick and a fumble. So this was an outstanding outing by not only the whole UCLA team, but if you're going to win championships, it's always going to go through your defense.
Yeah, outstanding out about the entire Ohio State team there. Hey, you know what? The Ohio State defense came through. Will Howard, it probably should have been worse. Will Howard, a couple of mistakes in this game. He was playing behind a banged-up offensive line. He missing his top 2 left tackles because his backup was also missing. But Will Howard, 16-24, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. What do you think of this whole performance?
A lot of pressure on Will Howard, not just today, but going forward this season. Will Howard, are you the weakest link? That's the question. He played well enough to win, thankfully. His offense dialed it up. Great job by Chip Kelly and company. But Penn State had a 10-0 lead because of Will Howard. Ohio State gave away points. I mean, interceptions that Will Howard was throwing. You're missing wide-open receivers that are phenomenally schemed up. Then you're about to score in the red zone, and then you fumble the football. These types of things cannot happen. They just can't happen. So I think Will Howard will continue to feel the pressure of the program moving forward because this Ohio State team is good enough to get it done. You talk about Judkins, you talk about Ibuka, you talk about the other wide receivers they have out there. They're good enough to get it done. But Will Howard, you are the missing piece that has to show up.
They're all in on Ohio State. This is a championship or bust team right now. But for Penn State, look at this game. This was pretty much – they're still going to get into the playoffs because they should win out, it seems. But this was the game that they wanted to win in the regular season, trying to end that drought against Ohio State. They're not playing Michigan this year. But Drew Aller, especially in the big games, Penn State, especially in the big games against the Michigans, the Ohio States, they just don't step up when they need to, especially offensively. And they brought in Andy Kolnicki this year, and it's supposed to be different, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and kind of alluding to what Matt Leinart was saying, they're going to get a chance because they're probably going to win out. They're probably going to make the playoffs. And so it's still a lot of football to be played, but they're going to have to beat somebody that's really, really good, or they're an underdog to take the next step and really grow this program like I know James Franklin wants to.
I'm frustrated, Coach. I've been waiting 8-9 years to watch Penn State take the next step. Not just 8-9 weeks. I haven't just been waiting the season. I don't know if we still have the cut up of the 4 consecutive third and goal, second and goal, first and goal, fourth and goal. Bad play calls. It's bad play calls.
Straight up the middle.
Well, and not only that, if you do that once or twice, that's fine. Coach, the fourth down call, the football field is 53 1/3 yards wide. It's 53 1/3 yards wide. I want y'all to see not just the first 3 runs, but wait until y'all see the pass play. The football field is 53 1/3 yards wide. Why do you only use about 10 yards of the field? Like, on this play that's coming, on this play right here, why are you only using about 10 yards of the field?
Everything was bunched.
The field is 53 1/3.
Yeah.
If you can spread out the defense, you have more surface area to score. If Chip Kelly is in that same situation, you think he's dialing up those 4 plays? You think he's dialing up? It's just not happening.
I've been there. I've been Andy
And you didn't do it either.
No, I'm just saying, so I don't want to say, too much.
Say it, Coach.
It's a lot easier. I'll say that it's a lot easier sitting right here than on that sideline. But, yeah, there was a little bit peculiar play calling. Really as creative and wide open as Koldenicki is to kind of go those 4 plays in a row. But he'll learn from it, and the good thing is...
But when? That's the problem, Coach. If they didn't learn when they had Saquon Barkley. They didn't learn when they had Miles Sanders. They didn't learn when not just Koldenicki. I'm talking about Franklin. Like, you didn't learn when you had Jared... no, they didn't have Stidham. The dude went to the Patriots, number 4. Like, eventually, when are you going to learn? Like, it's killing me because I love Penn State. I love Penn State.
Why did they bog down in the red zone? Because on the first drive of the game, they went 12 plays. Like,
march down the field.
March down the field. And they get into the red zone, then all of a sudden things just get clogged up. First and last drive of the game, Penn State just didn't come through when they needed to.
I will say this. When you get in the red zone, it is a different football game. It is a different football game in the NFL game and the college football game, much different games. But in the red zone, in both leagues, it is a different game. You got to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
The running quarterback really helps. Aller's not much of a running quarterback.
So would you have put Prabula in there for at least one of those plays?
I thought we were hearing he was going to be a part of this, and I didn't see much of him today. I don't know.
We don't talk enough about football, just the strategy of it all. So by the time you get into the red zone, the field is now wider than it is long, and Coach is brilliant, so he can identify that. When the field is longer, the offense, they just have more leisure to do more things.
What if you don't have the speed to do that? Or you think Ohio State's defense is more quick?
You may not have the speed vertically, but can you find the speed horizontally? What I would have loved to see Penn State do, especially on that final 4th down, can you roll them out? Like, can you at least move, and can you have an option in the flat? Can you have a first-level option? Can you have a second-level option? Put the defense in a position to error. They didn't even put the defense in a position to error. Right. If you can mess with my eyes as a defender, if you can mess with my calls and my signals as a defender, if I have to go from cover 2 to cover 4, if I have to go from cover 1 to now cover 2, for example, with the check, if for some reason you come out and empty, and now I got to go to an empty check, you're giving me a reason to mess up. If you can give the defense a reason to mess up, advantage offense. But Penn State did not often enough give the Ohio State defense even a reason to err. Now you got to hope you got better players, and they just didn't.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I do. I think that whole red zone changes, and the strategy changes. Usually now it's we're going to come after you or we're dropping everybody. And now those windows are changed horizontally to more width. It's just a different feel, different game. I do think this, when you get on the goal line, inside that 3-yard line, the hardest place sometimes to go is straight ahead.
Yeah.
The quickest way is the straight line over there, but that's where all the dudes are.
I'll say this very quickly. I remember when Chip Kelly, he got to Philadelphia. And at the time, we have a person by the name of LaShawn McCoy, Eagles all-time rushing leader. Chip Kelly was our head coach. Chip Kelly gathered the team together, and he said, why is it that in the goal line, we take all our big guys and we run out there, and then they take all their big guys and they run out there, and we just see which big guys are the biggest? He's like, why wouldn't I spread you out and then try to run it? And so sometimes you have to be counterintuitive, because what we saw Penn State do is, well, let's just try to run it up the middle and run it up the middle and run it. No. Let's think outside the box.
You sure you want to put Chip Kelly and LaShawn McCoy and the Eagles in the same sentence together? You sure? I mean, like, I know you work with LaShawn. Like, you think he likes what you just said right there?
Shady's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, just like, you just a lot of trauma right now. Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn. Anyway, yeah, he's doing a good job as offensive coordinator for Ohio State, and that defense Jim Knowles, you give them a lot of credit for what they did today. That defense will travel, see what they do with the rest of the season, see if Penn State can bounce back. Meanwhile, Miami is off to an 8-0 start, and now the Hurricanes look to go to 9-0 for the first time since 2017. But to do so, they got to get past Duke and their former coach Manny Diaz. And Duke was up 28-17, but that was all she wrote for them because Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo came to play.
Those are the two best players on Miami's team. Restrepo, love him.
Outscored him 36-3 the rest of the way. Restrepo, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ward, 5 TD passes. Ole Miss, Arkansas, speaking of touchdown passes, Jackson Dart had 6 of them.
And it's kind of fun when they're that wide open.
Yeah, found Jordan Watkins, who had 5 of those right there. School records for Dart, passing yards and touchdown passes on the day. Minnesota 24, Illinois here. Max Brosmer to Jameson Gears. Minnesota up by 5 after a failed 2-point conversion. Luke Altmaier trying to bring his team back down 8.
Three-man rush, go on and row the boat.
Row the boat. Gophers win at 25-17. How about Vandy, man? Taking on Auburn.
Yep. There's a story of the college football season, them in Indiana. I mean, what they're doing is phenomenal. Great job, Auburn, right there, getting in there.
Yeah, that's Peyton Thorne and Rivaldo Fairweather tying the game at 7. But Vandy, now bowl eligible, y'all.
Oh, Commodores.
Man, Clark Lee. Think he'll leave his school? I mean,
hey, stop that.
Hey, man.
Good at Vandy. Leave it alone.
I'm trying to be a coach's agent right here. Oklahoma finally scored some points against Maine. Javonte Barnes, 8-yard score. Oklahoma up 35-7. Then Javonte Barnes again, 203 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns as the Sooners roll 59-14. Virginia Tech, Syracuse, of course, turnover prone.
This is a good bounce back win if the Orangemen can get this done.
Yeah, in overtime, LaQuint Allen gets into the end zone, giving them a 7-point lead. So Tech trying to answer. Colin Schlee, this is not the way you answer. You got to hold on to the football in overtime. Liddell Diggs recovers, and Syracuse holds on 38-31. How about UCLA playing much better football? Nebraska trying to bounce back.
UCLA's playing some defense.
Yeah, Dylan Raiola found out. Picked up by Kane Madrano. 38-yard pick six. Look at that athleticism.
Go ahead, don't throw a pick, Raiola. I need your chest up, head up, wrap, move your feet.
Neither one of these teams is going to be in the college football rankings that come out on Tuesday. A big day on Tuesday for a lot of reasons, a lot of selections being made that day. But most importantly, for college football, 12 teams, well, the top 25 in the college football playoff rankings will be revealed. What's the thing that you're looking forward to the most?
Yeah. For me, it's simple. The second Big 12 team, where will they fall? We already know one Big 12 team is going to make it into the playoff, but the second team, is the second best Big 12 team better than the 4th or 5th best SEC team? That's going to be highly debated. Will a 3-loss SEC team in Alabama or in LSU, they both have 2 losses, could wind up with 3, will they be viewed in higher esteem than a 2-loss Big 12 team? The 2-loss Big 12 team right now, Colorado, they're sitting there. If they run the table, do they get in? Iowa State, they have no losses. They end the season with Kansas State. Lose to Kansas State, maybe lose in the Big 12 championship game. Maybe Kansas State does. That's what I'm most curious about, coaches. Will we see 4 or 5 SEC teams and just one Big 12 team or so?
And it's, for me, my brain can't even wrap my mind around all that because I know what's going to happen here in the next month of November football. There's going to be some craziness. But I think the team, for me, I'm real curious where they rank Notre Dame. Yeah. They're at 8 right now. And they don't have too much of a hard schedule coming. They do have Army, who's undefeated. They got the Trojans at the end of the year in L.A. I think that's going to be a really hard game for them. And if they're to lose that, if they don't get ranked high enough, is Notre Dame getting in with 2 losses?
I mean, the thing is, you lose to USC and you lose to Northern Illinois, and the best win that you have is against Texas A&M, which is a top 10 team.
Really good win.
I don't think that's going to be enough for Notre Dame, especially with them not being in the conference. Of course, if you're a conference winner, you get an automatic bid into the playoffs. But once again, they're not picking the playoff teams right now, picking out the college football playoff rankings. Speaking of the Acho, moments ago, Iowa State taking the lead against Texas Tech. It's Rocco Beck down the field.
Wow.
And
this is what Iowa State does. They just drag you into the deep end of their pool.
Touchdown right there. Carson Brown getting into the end zone. 44-yard touchdown reception. And right now, Cyclones on top at home. 21st ranked Army, 7-0. They hadn't trailed all season long either.
Arch, if you're playing Army, what's the one play you have to stop?
You got to stop the dive up the middle.
Yeah, well, And Bryson Daly wasn't even in there, their star quarterback, one of the nation's touchdown leaders there. But Kanye was.
Easier.
I'm going to let you finish, Coach, but Kanye just scored another touchdown. Army wins 20-3. San Diego State, number 15, Boise State. This was last night. This is Ashton Jeanty. We've got to show him because he's the nation's leading rusher. He's a Heisman contender.
This guy to me is so fun to watch because every time he touches the ball, if you're the opposing team, you're holding your breath because you know something bad's probably going to happen.
And Jeanty was held in check in the first half. Second half, he came alive, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns. Boise State wins it 56-24. These are updated Heisman odds through today. Now, coming into today, Travis Hunter was the odds-on favorite, but because of Cam Ward's magnificent performance, especially in the second half, he is now your Heisman frontrunner over Travis Hunter with Dylan Gabriel in third and Jeanty, you see, pulling up the rear at fourth. Now, early today, Travis Hunter made his claim for the hardware on Big Noon Kickoff.
I mean, it's just nobody ever done what I've been doing. So it's pretty much that simple. I mean, I have an offensive stack. I sealed the game on defense. I sealed the game on offense. Nobody ever done that before. And it's just pretty much easy for me. You can see the game, it speaks for itself for me. I just go out there and play and work hard every day.
Campaign time.
Hey, he's campaigning. He's putting it out there. He's the best player of the nation right now, but is he your Heisman Trophy pick right now?
I wouldn't push back on that. I mean, what he's doing is truly spectacular. That guy is something special. I like Jeanty as well. I mean, this guy, like we were just talking about, every time he touches the ball, he's averaging 190 yards a game. He's got 20 touchdowns. He breaks more tackles than him. He has not fumbled this year. He's a great receiver. I mean, he is doing so much, not only in college football, but for this Boise State offense. But I also like Dylan Gabriel, the number 1 team in the country, who they've played, the stats he's putting up, 76% completion percentage, 5th highest in all time of college football. 18 passing touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. He's not getting sacked much, I think 3 times in the last 3 games. He can run. He really does it all. To me, this is a guy that's sparking the number 1 team in the country.
I think it's going to go to Hunter. I think it likely should go to Hunter. Not only does Hunter doing something that we haven't seen before as it pertains to playing 2 ways. Miles Jack did it. Charles Woodson, he's done it. Other players throughout time, but he's doing it a little bit differently. I also think, remember, Hunter's going to benefit from the media push. If I can take y'all back to the 2015 Heisman race, Coach, you'll remember this well. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. Christian McCaffrey had better statistics than Derrick Henry, but people were less familiar with Christian McCaffrey's game. Nobody will be unfamiliar with what Travis Hunter's doing, in large part because of Prime and Dion and Travis himself. On your bye week, you go in and you're doing shows. Brilliant. I think it's Travis Hunter's to take.
That had to do as much as Pac-12 in the dark. Because no one saw McCaffrey except for me running up and down the field.
Hunter may split some votes, too, with his own teammate, Shedeur Sanders, by the end of the day. See what happens there. Hey, tomorrow we've got a huge NFL doubleheader on Fox. First, the Cowboys take on the Falcons or other regional action. Then it's America's game of the weekend. Jared Goff leads the Lions against Jordan Love and the Packers or Rams and the Seahawks. And then you can catch everything on the facility Monday through Friday because they're going to be talking about all that. But check your local listings for the game in your area. That's tomorrow on Fox.